YouTube is broken. YouTube is broken all the time, and it's broken now. And we're going to do the show anyway. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Tim Pool. This is TimcastIRL. I am hanging out with my friends.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
That's Adam.
How you doing?
That's Adam.
Yo.
Yeah. I'm Lydia.
That's Lydia. We're chilling. Apparently, Alan Dershowitz, who's like a famous constitutional lawyer, defended Donald Trump, but was also a big Clinton supporter, has said the government can,
Oh, he's a constitutional lawyer?
Yeah.
That's his job?
Well, he's like a professor at some university.
And that's what he's saying? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so he's saying, hey, man, if the government wants to medicate you, what are you going to do about it?
They can put you on a chair and force a needle in your arm.
Is that what he said?
That's exactly what he said. I was
shocked. It's funny. It's so funny. I love it. I love the decay of our constitutional rights. And
yeah.
Man, I didn't think we would 1984 that fast.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a slow build.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just like... So there's a gym by us called Atlas, really, really close to where we live. I went and drove past it the other day. And they arrested a woman for, quote, organizing a protest. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, right.
That's literally the First Amendment.
First Amendment, the right to protest.
Yeah, well,
Ooh.
And you know what we're going to do?
Where's that boogaloo?
We're also, yeah, you want a boogaloo, that's how you get a boogaloo.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they want it,
It's like they're daring the citizens to
maybe
rise up. Like, come on, dare you.
Maybe
see how far we can go.
I figured it out. It's the lizard people. Okay. And because the lizard people globalists got beaten, the interdimensional lizard people globalists got defeated by Donald Trump. They're just like, burn it all down. It's the end. And Trump, I'm kidding.
Oh, man.
I'm kidding. We have a couple other stories. We'll see what we get to. There's a whistleblower who exposed that Apple is basically spying on everybody.
Not surprising.
Actually listening to you, has come forward. Apparently it's an older story, but the guy's now revealed his name and on the record saying this is what Apple is doing.
Okay.
Listening to people's intimate moments.
Of course.
Yep. And there's some other stories. Maybe we'll talk about Aliens, Snyder Cut, the Justice League movie. We got CDC guidelines. We'll see what we get to. We're gonna talk. We're gonna hang out. Y'all gonna hang out too. And I got bad news for everybody. Bad news is that YouTube is broken. I have tried the YouTube live studio producer on 2 different browsers. Log in, log out. Didn't work. So it's just giving me like a bit of a blank screen. But it looks like the super chats are finally working again. The super chats weren't working a moment ago, and it looks like they are now working. So
nice.
We're gonna hang out. If you're just tuning in, make sure you smash that like button.
Smash it.
Smash it.
Smash it down.
Make YouTube be like, whoa, the button's broken. It can never work again. And hop in the super chat if you'd like. We can't get to everybody. We get as many super chats as we can, but to be completely honest, when we get 10,000 plus people, it just becomes physically impossible to read every single comment, because what happens is the super chats come in faster than we can actually read them, and I talk fast, so that's impressive. So I appreciate it. I really do. All the super chats, we really do love you guys, but sometimes just can't get into them. But other than that, if you like the podcast, share it. We're available on iTunes and all that jazz and all those other platforms. And, now that Joe Rogan's leaving YouTube, yeah, we're all going to start fighting. It's going to be like a grudge match against all the other vodcast podcasts, boxing each other, trying to claw our way to the top.
Some guy posted a video, a clip of our show yesterday about you talking about that. And was basically saying like, Tim's claiming that he's gonna get all of Joe Rogan's, fans, and millions of people are gonna flock to him. And I'm like, what? And he's
jokes.
And I'm like, hey, what? I'll click on the video. Let me see what it is. And it's just him with no shirt on, just complaining about you. And it's like,
people love to complain.
It doesn't even make sense.
And I'm pretty sure I was like, I'm just kidding.
It was kind of funny.
Like the joke is, it's gonna be. You ever see the movie The One with Jet Li?
I think so, but I don't know.
It's the one where there's like 215 dimensions or something.
Okay.
And there's
that
many versions of you.
Yes.
And you all share energy.
Yeah.
So he goes around killing his own alternates
and gets stronger,
condensing the energy.
Right.
But then there's the unsuspecting Jet Li who's like somehow getting stronger. And then it ends with him on the top of this mountain just fighting off all the people who are trying to like come for him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it. That's like, that was Joe Rogan. Now he's gone. So all of those hordes are crawling to the top.
We want the power.
Yeah. It's a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Yeah, but people don't. Look, they don't want there to be jokes because they want to have something to be angry about.
Yep.
You ever see that comic where the guy's like, "I'm angry," and the other guy's like, "Here's a solution," and then the guy burns it and he goes, "I don't want a solution. I want to be angry." I love it.
Yeah.
It's exactly that it describes everything so well. So, the other day we were talking about this gym
Okay.
that they reopened in defiance of the governor's order.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday.
Right. And
I didn't believe that you were going to go.
I went.
And he did. He went.
It's like 3 miles away.
And you called it. Or actually, I said it was going to be nothing. And you
Yeah,
showed up and they were closed.
Yeah. Of course.
Right.
Like I can't imagine that it says online that they're open till like 11 or whatever.
Okay.
But so this is a story that actually came out the other day. Alan Dershowitz says power to plunge a needle into your arm.
Yep.
Dershowitz says forced vaccinations are constitutional. What?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Excuse me?
Doesn't the Constitution say
What?
something like if the government isn't granted the power specifically, it can't do it or something?
10th Amendment.
That's the 10th one?
Well, that technically leaves it to the
That's the
states.
enumeration of the rights of the states or whatever.
But anything that's not specifically given to the federal government is left to the states.
So my first question for all of you, you can comment as we get started. If the government vaccine man knocked on your door and said, drop trow, turn around, the injections are coming, what would you do?
Nope.
What would you do? Forced vaccinations.
Nope.
This is creepy, man.
Yeah. And they said 18 months for like a safe vaccination, and now they're like claiming they're going to have one by the end of the year, and it's like that's like in a 9-month period you're going to rock out a vaccination and then force it upon everybody.
So do you think?
I don't know.
Do you think we'll end up with like? Do you know what thamidelide was?
No.
It was a medication I think it was in the 80s.
Okay.
And pregnant women who took it, their babies were born without limbs, so they had like just it was something like that, like
Whoa.
they just like arms,
Just mess people
like
up
on their shoulders or something.
That was anti-nausea.
Yeah, is that what it was? Yeah, thamidelide, I think it was called. Do you think we'll end up with something like that?
Yeah.
From a rushed vaccine? Or do you think we'll end up with like Morlocks and like, people who can't, like, basically they get injected and like, and all of a sudden they're forced underground? Or like, do you think it'll be like zombies?
Or it just renders anyone who has it like sterile or
Oh
something.
my God. I'm kidding, by the
I'm
way.
going.
was
I
thinking-
mean,
Total
I'm
joke.
going really extreme, but
That's what I was thinking.
the Georgia Guidestones, like what was it, 500 million people max?
Man.
But
There's
those are-
people that believe that,
for sure.
Bill Gates isn't he saying that there's too many of us, and he's the one like all about vaccines and
Yes,
I mean,
but-
I'm really diving way out there. I'm just gonna put that out there, but I mean, I don't know, I don't know.
We are now at the point where, I mean, I like to say we're on the precipice of some kind of boogaloo, but
I agree.
let me tell you all listening something. The other day, no, hold on. For the past week or 2 weeks, I personally have been talking about on my channels the lockdowns,
Okay.
the constitutionality of it, the medical benefits of it.
Okay.
And guess what? Multiple studies say, social distancing works. We have studies suggesting the lockdown may have actually been bad. We have an economic crisis. We have food shortages, food prices skyrocketing, and there's all of the reason to suggest we should reopen. YouTube just issued a statement. Anybody who says anything about the lockdowns being bad is banned. Boom, outright.
Wow.
So that video, there's a video from a doctor where he said I think he said something like we need social distancing, but we can't do the lockdown because we have to develop herd immunity.
Right.
YouTube deleted the video.
Well, he didn't actually say herd immunity, just immunity in general.
Yeah,
like
well-
when you're locked inside, you lose your natural immunity in general.
Right. The point is, if we have these cops in New Jersey violating the Constitution.
Okay.
So let me show you the next story. And we do got to read. Police charge woman with organizing a protest at Rogue Atlas Gym. Let's look at some context here. What is this? Police charge woman for organizing a protest. How does that make sense? They say, according to a statement from Belmar Police Chief William Walsh, they cited the gym owners, Frank Trembeni and Smith. Police have also charged one person with obstructing the administration of law, while reportedly because he refused to identify himself to officers, and police charged anti-shutdown protester Ayla Wolf with organizing a protest. So I guess that's it, right? Here's Murphy said, I don't begrudge anyone's right to protest, Murphy said in April. This is America. We all have First Amendment rights. I really wish they would do it at home. Wait, what? All right.
You could protest,
Okay.
but don't do it here. Go do it at home. Where you can protest.
I'm gonna protest right now.
To who? Like,
We're gonna leave the camera running. I'm gonna go in my room and I'm gonna wave a sign out my window. I'm protesting. Neighbors, look at me. Listen. This woman was arrested for, quote, organizing a protest. That's not a crime.
Nope, that's not a crime.
But YouTube says that if you do anything or say anything that could encourage people to do something dangerous, they'll ban your video outright.
So when he says, go protest at home, wouldn't that, like, what options do you have other than to go on the internet and protest and make people see
You get
it?
banned. You
Right.
get censored.
So they're
Dude.
basically making the First Amendment illegal.
So the other day, I did a video about people in Virginia flocking to the beaches.
Okay.
And people in New York are out partying. Dude, this is crazy stuff, all right?
Yeah.
What's going on in New York, there's people jumping on cars and just like taking the streets over, and they're twerking and they're doing simulated sex stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just bonkers in
Wow.
New York City. Meanwhile, the governor of New Jersey is threatening a local gym because they want to have some people exercise. What's worse? They can't enforce the other one, so they're going to go after this guy? YouTube shadow banned my video. It didn't appear on my channel for most people. Some
Right.
people could see it. I could see it. Most people couldn't. That's a shadow ban.
Right.
So I've been censored already. What happens when they come and they just ban this channel outright? My other channel's outright. We can't talk anymore. And they say, nope, you're encouraging, dangerous things.
Well, I mean,
Goodbye.
Yesterday we were kind of on the edge of talking about certain things. I don't even want to bring them up again, but for those who watched our show yesterday, we talked about it a couple times. Like, man, this might get us banned. We're just going to
All
keep
the
talking
time.
about it.
Yep.
This might get us banned. Let's just keep talking about it, whatever. And trying to start our show today, YouTube was messing up. Like,
YouTube's totally broken.
It still is not updating. I could see it's not normal. It's not showing the normal specs. Something's different today than it was yesterday.
I mean, this happens.
Yeah.
When we first tried starting the show, we weren't seeing any concurrent numbers, any likes, any revenue, and super chats weren't loading. And then now super chats are loading, but nothing else is refreshing. So I have no idea how many likes there are, chat revenue. It's supposed to show us, doesn't show us. It's broken.
Yeah.
I tried logging out. But anyway, I think we're dangerously close to something nightmarish because you got Alan Dershowitz saying the government can force a needle into your arm.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to say no to that.
Yeah,
Period.
He also said you don't have a right to not be vaccinated. It's like, what? How is that possible? How can you decide whether or not I get vaccinated or not?
There are some things that make sense because I'm in favor of vaccines, right?
Right.
I'm not in favor of rushed
Yes.
where they're like panicking.
Precisely.
But
Force.
if a public school, in my opinion, says you can't go here unless you're vaccinated, I'm cool with that. You know
Yeah,
what?
Fair.
that makes sense.
It's a public school. If the public, ordinance is passed saying these are the requirements we have for what this school,
Yeah.
great, homeschool. But
Homeschool
they don't
it
like
is.
homeschool.
Right.
They don't like that.
Yep.
That's the alternative. It's like, okay, if you don't want to vaccinate your kids, don't bring them to the school, man.
Yeah, done.
It's that easy. So let's read and see what Dershowitz said, because I'm telling you, man, we are dangerously close. I mean, I kind of feel like we're over the precipice. Like we just right off the edge.
Yep.
And we're just falling at this point.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Here we go. A top lawyer who defended President Trump during his Senate impeachment trial believes the Constitution grants the government power to vaccinate citizens against their will. Speaking with Crowdsource the Truth host Jason Goodman over the weekend, Harvard professor Alan Dershowitz said the public safety outweighs any private liberty concerns of U.S. citizens who do not wish to be vaccinated for the coronavirus. What?
Where does it say that in the Constitution? It sounds like he's just making that up.
Those who, those who would give up essential liberties for the prospect of security deserve neither and will lose both. Something like that. I don't know if that's actually a quote from.
It is.
No, I don't think it's a real quote from a founding father. I think it was somebody said it and then they attribute it to him, because otherwise, this is what people like doing. They've done it for hundreds of years or longer. They'll say something they believe, but attribute it to a great person so that people will listen.
Yeah.
That is from Benjamin Franklin,
Are you sure?
Yep.
100%.
NPR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just lost context, they say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so-
Why did he say that specifically, or was
Yeah,
it?
those who would give up the essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
There you go.
Yeah, so.
So when YouTube comes a knocking and they say, you better toe the line for the machine or else, I'll say, or else.
Yeah.
And we're here. So, I say that we're dangerously close because we're at a point where the monopolized video platform right now is basically saying, we warned you, bro. We shadow banned your video. If you keep talking out about this, we'll just knock you right out. You must advocate for the government to come and force you to be medicated.
Nope.
This is the future. This is great.
No way.
So, I like to think that there would be a point, when this all blows over, that there's going to be like lawsuits.
Yeah.
There already are a lot of lawsuits. I'm not confident. The governor of New Jersey said we can't fully reopen until there's a vaccine.
It's ridiculous.
I'm out. We've been looking to expand, finding a building, And we've been looking, not necessarily in Jersey and other states, but we really wanted to do it here because we were here. Now it's like, nah, we'll figure something else out. I'm not going to be in a state where you've got, legit despots being like, this is what really freaks me out, is that you have this small business, this gym, and it's like two guys, and they're like, we're going to exercise and open our business. And he specifically tells them, like of everything he could be talking about, he goes after this one small business, these two guys who have no power, no authority, and he's the governor of the state, and he's leveraging the massive power of that state against this tiny business. Meanwhile, Walmart's profits are up 74%.
74%, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Big box stores are skyrocketing. It's not like, which dystopian novel are we in again? It's like a little bit of every single one,
Yep.
So for me, I think the big concern with them rushing the vaccine is, I don't literally think it's going to be zombies or, mole people or whatever. But I mean, who wants to be the guinea pig for the first run of vaccines? Some people do. I don't.
Definitely not.
So did you guys didn't answer the question? Oh, wait, no, you did. You said no. The government, comes and says, drop chow, turn around, put a needle in your butt. So let's check this out. He says, quote, "Let me put it very clearly. You have no constitutional right to endanger the public and spread disease even if you disagree. You have no right not to be vaccinated. You have no right not to wear a mask. You have no right to open up your business." Goodman interjected to clarify whether Dershowitz was saying the federal government has the ability to mandate vaccinations for all citizens. Absolutely. Dershowitz replied, "And if you refuse to be vaccinated, the state has the power to literally take you to a doctor's office and plunge a needle into your arm." Well,
that's insane.
You know what? I'd like to see Antifa speak up.
Yeah, where are they at?
What's
going on?
They're agreeing with the government.
I don't get it.
Not all of them. I think they're hiding. I think, the problem for a lot of these activists is that they defended the establishment too much. Not completely, but too much.
Okay.
When the mainstream media was saying things like, you go Antifa, Antifa rolled with it. And now that the establishment saying, okay, now that, you've agreed with us, we're going to, drag you to an office and jam a needle in your arm. They're like, just don't say anything. There's no actual, pushback or anything.
Yeah.
That's what democracy is about. That's amazing. If the majority of the people agree and support that for public health measures, you have to be vaccinated. You have to be vaccinated. They should give you an alternative. The alternative is to live in your home, don't get vaccinated, but never leave your home or live in a bubble. But if you want to interact with other people, you cannot become Typhoid Mary. The Constitution doesn't give you the right to spread your illness to other people.
Wow.
Dershowitz argued that healthcare workers and officials forcibly vaccinating the public through a legislative and judicial process that comes to a consensus on widespread vaccination is the best defense against the spread of the disease.
So what company's making the vaccine? Because I want to make some money. I want to invest in them because that seems like what this is. Just a bunch of people, we'll just, make it a law that you have to take this. And that means the government has to buy it from us. So we'll make $1 million, $1 billion.
Buy Amazon stock.
What, Amazon owns
No.
the vaccine or what?
The government just shut down every small business in the country.
Yeah.
And so people have no choice but to go to Amazon and Walmart. There you go.
That's it.
If you got the cash, you don't need to worry. You just buy into the big box chains, the big corporate stores, and you will see those stocks go up as all the small businesses get crushed. It's going to be great. It's going to be glorious. Don't you understand, Adam? Once this is all over, we'll have one store. We'll have Amazon. Mm-hmm. Everybody will be injected by the government. It's exactly what the founding fathers were dreaming of with their birth of a new nation. Mm-hmm. Haven't you ever read the Declaration of Independence? We are all created equally under God, and we have the right to life, liberty, and to be suffering under the mandate of government against our will.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
That does sound right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe not verbatim, but
That's an interpretation, which is what Alan Dershowitz is doing. So
basically,
I don't do not want to hear that.
Oh,
it's ridiculous, man.
I can't believe he said that.
I think I'm gonna get banned. I think I've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
Because they've been. I think they're not doing bans. They're doing partner program purges. So
what? You just won't get paid for anything anymore?
They cut you off so you can't make money. Yep. They want you to toe that line, baby.
Well, good thing we know someone who just went over to Spotify with a pretty good deal. Maybe we can, you're friends with them, right? So,
and Joe's spoken up a lot about about the problems of the lockdowns and stuff like that.
Yeah, he has.
So I haven't followed everything he said about the lockdown, but for those, I'm sure everybody knows by now, Joe Rogan's leaving eventually. The main show is going to be off YouTube. It's going to be going on Spotify. I hope that's a viable alternative, but it's going to be probably like Hulu or Netflix. You got to be in the club.
Yep.
That's what they want, man. So a bunch of YouTube has been very clever about how they've purged everybody, and they've not banning people has gone too far, and it sparks a huge backlash. So now you're removed from the partner program, but you can reapply later.
Oh, of course.
So it lightens the devastation.
Yeah.
But they also don't do it all at once. They do like a little bit here and there. So there were apparently some channels that this is someone I know told me this. We're totally in the clear.
Mm-hmm.
News channels, not conspiracy, but a little. I don't know if the right word is maybe not conspiratorial, just not well vetted.
Okay.
Purged, gone. So I think YouTube is working its way up this ladder of like just eliminating content and channels, and
Okay.
because we know where this is going. Donald Trump is talking about, I believe Trump was talking about this, deploying the military to deliver the vaccine.
Wow.
When it's available. And what's the mortality rate right now based on the current numbers we have? It's like
under 1%.
0.12 or something like that.
0.12.
The infection rate, I think, is around like 5% now. It's like way, way lower. And none of this matters, right? We don't know. There's a lot of studies coming out. And I don't think there's a grand conspiracy simply because a lot of government-funded and university-funded studies have come out showing it's not that bad. I think what we're seeing is the new culture war is specifically about this. If Trump's for it, we're against it, right?
Yeah.
So at first, the culture war was very much like free speech, hate speech. And you had these people who just opposed free speech because... And now it's we need to reopen the economy because people are going to starve and prices are going to skyrocket. And now you have these other people who have gone the other direction. They're like, no, we should be locked down forever.
Yep.
So then it's like they're increasingly entertaining the extreme. What's next? Yeah, forced vaccination, I guess.
Yeah, it feels like they're really just trying to push on the populace. Like, let's see how much authority we can gain here.
How do they think this is going to end? Seriously, how does this end well? How are they thinking that we can stay locked down forever and survive? I don't really understand.
No one's going to do anything about it. So look, if anybody on social media says, "Hey, we should do something about it," banned.
Yeah.
Instantly gone.
So what happens?
People start defying the government orders, like this gym. People get arrested for organizing protests, and I think for the most part, no one will do anything. I really think no one will do anything. I think in certain parts of the country, people will just bunker down. But I don't think we'll see any kind of actual resistance to this level of absurdity.
I think certain states are going to be like, there's already states where their police force is saying, we're going to uphold the Constitution.
Yeah.
And we're not arresting anyone. They're not doing anything illegal. So, and other states are like, we're arresting everyone no matter what.
Yep.
And it's going to shift the population around. I think that's what's going to happen.
We're
going to become the divided states of America.
Yeah, it's going to send... I think a lot of people are going to... I don't know. I think this might make tons of people conservative.
Oh, definitely.
Because you got to think about the liberals who went and bought guns, and the liberals who are now I don't know the political leaning of these gym owners, but this gym that's trying to reopen is in a heavy blue district. It's D+13.
Oh, okay.
It's like we're just on the other side of the river from Philadelphia, so it is very Democrat. The rep's a Democrat. D+13. That means it never goes red.
Yeah.
Basically. And then just south of us is, I believe it's NJ2, which is Jeff Van Drew's district, who was a Democrat and switched for the Republican Party.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think the blue states are going to be dramatically weakened. Here's what I project right now. The governor came out and said, we won't be back to normal, the new normal, until there's a vaccine. So he mentioned stores being packed and people walking around downtown.
Yeah.
That's normal. And I'm like, you want me to sit in my house for 18 months?
Yep.
What's scary is that most people have no choice. I'm privileged.
That's true.
I have a business that relies on the internet, not on foot traffic.
Right.
So these gym owners, what do they do? It's like, close your gym down and get a gym somewhere else. Not that easy.
Yeah.
For me, it's like we're expanding and I'm looking to get a new building. I'll just get a building somewhere else.
Even bigger companies are closing. Pier 1 closed.
Yeah.
500 locations or something. It's like,
Wow.
that's crazy. After like 50 years, so it's not even the small companies, it's the bigger companies. And I'm sure gyms are on that list too.
24-hour fitness closing.
Yeah.
Whoa,
There you go.
Yep,
See,
all together.
exactly.
I
The
think they're
entire
shutting
thing.
down.
The
Yeah,
entire. Whoa.
I believe so. I can double check that, but
Wow, man.
Yeah, it's huge. So is there even going to be gyms opened? Like what gym is owned by Walmart?
Could you imagine?
Is there one? No.
Could you
No.
imagine living in a city after this?
No.
New
Oh
York.
my goodness, no.
Dude, this is nuts. New York is almost entirely small business.
Or
Almost
or
entirely.
well, not necessarily. Or like supremely rich businesses like Starbucks or, I mean, I can't think of anything. An Apple store. There's a Starbucks. There's a corner in New York that I could stand and do a spin and see Starbucks there, Starbucks there, Starbucks there.
Yeah.
Like 5 Starbucks in one spot. I could see them all.
But that's just Starbucks. New York is almost entirely small businesses.
Okay.
Individual bodegas. There-
Sure.
There's like very few massive supermarkets. There's Whole Foods. There's Trader Joe's and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the bodegas are all. I believe the bodegas. A lot of them are like franchise networks, kind of like someone might own like 4 or 5 bodegas.
Yeah. I think
But
that's how it works.
it's a bunch of tiny restaurants. You walk down Manhattan, like 6th Avenue, and it's like, there's a tiny Thai food restaurant across the street, a tiny Indian food restaurant. They barely have any seats. They're all like, it's mostly small business. And that because I was reading something about this a long time ago. I could be wrong, but I think New York City doesn't allow Walmart.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that. But Chicago is very strict on Walmarts too, because of how it devastates the small businesses.
Yeah.
But when you think about how the big chains, like Starbucks will be fine, because Starbucks still, a lot of Starbucks are still open and operating across the country.
Okay.
It's just in the cities where they're shut down. Like some, and the places that have drive-throughs,
Yeah.
they're probably open just fine.
That makes sense.
So what's going to happen? After 18 months or whatever, New York finally reopens. People walk outside, no stores,
Yeah.
no food, just Starbucks. If that, man, because the local Starbucks might close. All the food's spoiled. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
They throw everything away. What do they do with it? But we are seeing a lot of places lighten up the restrictions now. So
Yeah.
we may be coming out on the other side of this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we said. We've been saying it's like, oh man, it feels like it's lightening up. It feels like it's lightening up. And then of course they're arresting someone
That's true.
who are like, we're just a small gym. We're just trying to open up. It's like, no. You broke the rules. You're being arrested for organizing a protest
Yeah.
against this lockdown it seems like we don't need to be locked down anymore. Why are we locked down still?
Well, by saying that, we'll get banned.
That's a question.
It doesn't matter. That's how YouTube rolls, baby.
I'm just trying to put it on me.
Well, I'm kidding.
I deny it.
I don't know, man. Some people are saying it's like it's a test to see how far they can push people, and I'm like, there's no conspiracy, dude. It's this tribalism.
Some people.
Ineptitude.
I've been saying that.
It's fear,
yeah.
dude. You know what it is? It's that everybody's screaming at Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Trump didn't lock down soon enough. It's his fault.
Yeah.
So these governors are
Everyone wants
like,
to blame someone for it.
dude, if the average take the average person, put them in the governor's seat, and they're gonna be like, I don't want to be responsible. Just lock it all down forever until you impeach me. I don't care. I won't be responsible for this. So when people protest, I'm sure if enough people protested, the governor would be like, okay, we're going to reopen, but it's your fault if anything happens.
That's exactly what Whitmer was saying. I'm doing this for your own good.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be locked down.
She's nuts.
I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, she's the queen of Karens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Micah Brzezinski, did you see what happened?
I saw that.
She was like, I'm going to contact the manager of Twitter, and I demand Trump be banned. These people are nuts.
Yep.
It's making everything worse.
Oh, man. Can't you just, like, take a nice bath? You know?
Like, can't use your
Some
phone in the bath.
No, I just mean, get some Epsom salt,
Yeah. Relax.
sprinkle it in, just light some candles,
Woosah.
phone.
put on some Barry White. Just chill out,
Wow,
you
you
know?
got a lot of ideas here, Tim.
Yeah.
Just talking about some relaxing,
You got a really
mood-
specific
mood
picture here.
lifting.
I know, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably based off of like a 90s era
Few
sitcom
candles.
or something.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, some candles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny story and totally relevant. I had an apartment burned down because somebody wanted to light candles for this chick that I knew, and they put a bunch of teddy bears around a bunch of candles. Like, this is gonna be romantic, and then
Oof.
longer story than that.
Wow.
But I won't get into too much detail
Yikes.
because it's irrelevant. But I just thought of it, and I was like, I'm just gonna say it. you
Let's
know?
throw this out
Take
there.
it
Okay.
easy on the candles.
Yeah, dude. I'm bored of all this. That's the other thing. It's like I wake up, seeing these stories and I'm like, pissed off.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do all of these things and I'm kind of just like ready to go. GTFO.
Yeah.
West Virginia, baby. By the river.
Shenandoah
River. Get a little shack.
Yeah.
Do
The
our
mountains.
show. The set will be the exact same. No one will have any idea.
In a place that's younger than the mountains.
New Jersey has serious problems with attracting millennials.
Okay.
Because why would you want to live here? Like you turn 20 years old, you're like, I'm gonna go to New York. I'm gonna go to Philly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to LA.
It's a good point.
Who wants to be in New Jersey? It's the butt of every joke. And so
It's true.
And also with attracting new businesses. And so now I'm like, you know what, man? I don't think the state cares about my business or anyone else's. I think the leadership here, one of the biggest problems that I have seen with the current generation of Democrats is that if your whole political existence is predicated upon saying whatever you need to say, just get elected, that you don't actually care about what happens next to your community.
Yep.
That's true.
That's how we came up with all these leaders.
Which ones? Who?
Like, what's her name? Whitmer.
Oh, right.
And like
Yep.
the governor of New Jersey. And
I think it's
everywhere.
it's
He
even
gets all
worse
of
than
them.
that. It's like they're all these people in power. It feels like they're reaching a point where they don't care what happens to Earth. They're like,
Meh.
I'm gone in like 30 years anyway. Why do I care?
Yeah.
Why do I care? And that's an attitude I see across almost everyone in the government right now. It's insane.
Nihilistic.
You know the worst thing is when I've debated communists
Mm-hmm.
and they always go like, not always, but a lot of them will be like, dude, I'm fighting for a Star Trek kind of future. Okay, don't you want that? And I'm like, you think communism will get us to the point where we have spaceships and like post scarcity?
No.
You're nuts.
Yeah.
But then the other problem is that I think our government's too big. I think our populations are too big, in the sense that how do you govern? How does one representative represent 750,000 people?
You're right. They're all 100% different too.
You don't.
Everybody's different.
So you end up with like Ocasio-Cortez.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't actually care about her district. It's none of these representatives do. These people get elected in their districts and then go and complain about national level issues.
Yeah.
Not what their district is concerned about.
Exactly.
It's the weirdest thing. Now they have to get reelected, but for the most part, these districts have all become D+ or R+. You know what that means?
No.
It's like in the reason Ocasio-Cortez won is because it's a Democrat guaranteed district.
Oh, okay.
There was no election. Like nobody shows up for the primary. Nobody cared. And because she rallied enough activists and the Democrats just weren't paying attention, she won the primary. And then because it's a D+30 district,
Wow.
people just walk in and go D. They don't think twice. They don't care. They don't know.
Someone tweeted at me actually that she only got 14 signatures, or she needed 15, so she's not even on the ballot or something.
What? No. I'm pretty sure she is.
I'm not sure exactly what it was.
That's
but-
the Working Families Party.
Yeah, she's
Oh, okay.
applying to something
So
different.
the Working Families Party is kind of like an activist ballot. Never really wins, but it always supports the Democrat.
okay.
And she's not going to be on it. But interestingly, she just had a debate with her principal challenger, Michelle Caruso Cabrera. Caught her in a lie.
Like AOC in a lie?
Yeah. AOC said that after this vote in D.C., Michelle Caruso Cabrera called her out for like spending a week in her luxury apartment in D.C. with like, complete with infinity pool and a Whole Foods,
Okay.
while her district was suffering and dying from COVID. And AOC was like, well, I wasn't feeling well. And then Caruso Cabrera, I think she was the one who published this, showing the timeline of AOC like doing Instagram live with Megan Rapinoe, the soccer player. Like you're doing celebrity live streams and doing like, she was there for a week, I guess, posting these videos like
Yep.
Just making TikToks. And
right,
Snapchats
exactly.
and-
Making drinks.
Yeah,
These
she
people-
was,
In her
yeah.
kitchen.
Mhm.
Yep. In her luxury apartment.
Yep.
And then this is the funniest thing. Caruso Cabrera said, you lied and told people you were in the Bronx. And AOC said, no, I didn't. Because apparently AOC said something like, hey, to everyone here in the Bronx. Something like that. So she didn't actually say, I'm in the Bronx. But she phrased it in a way that people who were watching would think she was back in New York when she was really chilling at a luxury apartment in D.C. Gotta love it, man. I love it. People have complained about her, but I don't want to drag her specifically. It's like too many. Like Nancy Pelosi for sure. It's like, come on, dude. Your city is covered in human waste. Like
She scares me.
the mummy lady.
She's a
that's what they
scary
call her.
woman, yeah.
She's skeevy.
I don't think any of these people actually care. The interesting thing is, it's like based on what these people have done, I really do think that they're I think Rand Paul cares. deeply. That
Okay.
dude's got principles. I like that guy. He's like my favorite politician. I think Dan Crenshaw cares. I think Tulsi cares. And I think Trump cares. I think Trump cares about America.
Yeah.
But I think, in my opinion, when it comes to the president, he has this view of like, he has his view of what America is, and that's what he cares about.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So where it's like, I don't know how to really kind of describe what I mean, but I think Trump has more of a personal perspective on like, this is America and this is what I care about. And he's trying to build America in this vision. It's literally what he says, make America great again.
Yeah.
And so I look at someone like Rand Paul. It's relatively similar, the Constitution, constitutional rights, you know. But I think most of these people, there was a post on Reddit that went viral where they were like, stop thinking that anyone cares about you. Trump doesn't care about you. Bernie doesn't care about you. Biden doesn't care about you. They're crunching numbers.
Yep.
They're asking their consultants what do they need to say to convince people to vote, and they're targeting markets. That's all it is.
Yep.
And I you know what's crazy is I hear that and I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that when it comes to Trump, because Trump is a culture war icon. And the people who are voting for him on, like, especially on social media, they're really invested in the culture war. And so they're like all about Trump, the memes, the cause, the movement. And then you look at the opposition and there's no politician behind that.
No.
You know, it's Trump or anti-Trump. So I think it's fair to say Bernie doesn't care about you. I think it's fair to say Biden doesn't care. Biden, for the most part, I think Bernie cares a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair to say that Trump doesn't, because Trump is a, you know, culture war. You know, I think it's like he's here for his mission. Then you look at Biden. What's Biden there for? To like help the Clinton Foundation get back into getting hundreds of millions of dollars from the Saudis or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think he's a placeholder.
For
Yeah,
who?
for sure.
For what? What are they going to do?
I don't know who it's going to be, but I can't fathom him actually debating Trump.
Yeah, I don't.
He's
see
not going
it.
to do it.
He's not. No,
Yeah.
I don't see it happening.
I don't know what he's going to do.
No.
I don't know what's going to happen. Everything is stupid. Everyone's dumb. Everything's dumb. Should we talk about the whistleblower from Apple, or
We
what?
should.
Because we got a bunch of other stories too.
Yeah, let's keep it moving. Sure.
So the reason I thought this story was what is this? You know, there we go.
Nothing.
The reason why I thought this was something we absolutely had to talk about is because we had just done a big segment where I was like, they're not spying on you, they're not listening, they're just predicting your behavior.
Right.
And now we have this guy, he's a whistleblower, slamming Apple for wiretapping entire populations. Oh.
So they really were.
Yeah, no, they
they are.
definitely were.
They
Yeah,
really
for
were
sure.
listening.
You know what? And
Wow.
I should clarify too, because I think I was absolutely inaccurate in phrasing everything I was saying about the spying.
Okay.
They are spying on you, and I think to clarify, they know exactly what you're going to do. A lot of the ads you see are not because they're spying on you, but because they predict your behavior. Mm-hmm. They also do spy on you.
They're also spying on you.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of stories about like the Amazon device, whose name I will not say because it'll start talking.
Yep.
Recorded a conversation, and apparently law enforcement wanted access to the recording, and Amazon was like, no, and people were like, wait a minute, why is there a recording of this?
Yeah.
So like someone got murdered. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
I remember
always
that.
recording. And you try to explain to people, how do you think it knows when you say its name? Because it's listening to you.
It has to
You know?
listen. That
And
makes sense.
so what people don't understand about how these devices work, because this is Siri in this story, it used to be very early on, it would be like, say this phrase 3 times, and then it would try and create a profile for you saying it.
Okay.
And it never works.
Yeah.
Because it'll be like, you know, the phrase will be like, you know, computer activate or something, right? And then one day you're like tired and you go, computer activate. And it won't recognize you, because when you first said it, you're like, computer activate. And because you say it differently, it won't work. So the way they do it now is the microphones are on. When you talk, it's constantly sending what you say to a company to turn the text in the speech into text until it gets the command, and then it activates.
Right.
It's really funny with like the Amazon device. There's a whole bunch of words that you can say that are not its name that activate it.
Right.
So long as they have the same vowels in the same order.
Okay.
So it's like, that's why it frequently turns on an accident, because it hears something close enough, then boop. But let's see what's going on. A former Apple contractor revealed the firm's grading project last year. Thomas Lee Boniek worked under a Siri grading project that gathered snippets of audio in order to improve the smart assistant's accuracy. Last year, Leboniek revealed to The Guardian that while working for Apple, he heard private and sometimes intimate recordings, including medical discussions, criminal activity, sex, and official business talks. The whistleblower had initially remained anonymous, but has revealed himself in a protest against the lack of action taken against Apple for violating fundamental human rights. And he has done so with an open letter to European privacy regulators stating his concerns. I just had a horrifying thought.
Oh no, what?
What if Alex Jones was right about everything?
Everything?
Everything!
That's a bold statement, though.
He was
Not-
right about the frogs.
He's said a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, it's yeah, he said a lot of things.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true,
kidding,
too.
by the way. Oh,
Wait,
man.
what about the frogs?
YouTube's finger over the ban button. Get ready to...
Oh, the frogs?
Yeah.
He turned the frogs game, man.
Yeah.
That actually happened?
Atrazine.
Yeah. Atrazine. Okay, so atrazine in the water makes frogs less likely to reproduce.
Okay.
Well,
So-
it's a complicated story.
It is complicated.
Oh, is it complicated?
And
Tim?
I think it has been partially debunked, but there were initial studies showing that atrazine was mutating the endocrine systems of frogs. So they would have like their ovaries would become testes ovaries, or hybridize, making them sterile or something.
Okay.
And so, Jones in his entertaining rage yells,
Hyperbolic
"They're
way.
turning the freaking frogs gay."
I'd be mad too. I love frogs.
I am kidding about him being right about everything, but the point I'm trying to make in saying that is right now we are under what's essentially a nationwide lockdown.
Yeah.
People are being arrested for organizing protests. The First Amendment is gone. New York says you can't protest. Sorry, shut up. Meanwhile, people in New York City are jumping on top of cars and twerking and simulating sex. Not exaggerating. There's photos and videos popping up of this stuff.
That's
And the
crazy.
cops don't do anything about it. So we're literally watching everything fall apart. Big business is taking over.
Yeah, it's like they want all the businesses to close. It's like part of their agenda, it feels like.
I'm not implying everything's intentional, but I'm just saying like all of these horrible government overreach things are happening. No one's doing anything about it.
Yeah.
Apple is spying on everything you say. You're tracking every move you make. Boy, it really feels like all of these novels just merged into one and then just happened overnight. It's like,
Man.
what, 3 months ago? 3 months ago, life was normal.
Yeah, we saw movies.
Yeah. Complained about
Yeah.
Trump all day.
Yeah.
They tried to impeach him.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Now it's like, now they complain about Trump, but they've also locked us in our homes.
Yeah.
You can't escape them complaining about Trump.
And they're still pitted on Trump like it's his fault still. It's like
Well,
he's,
that's-
he's like telling everyone we want it open. Like, well, let's open it up.
But there's a disease.
Right.
There is, yeah.
So
This is
it's
true.
so okay. Hold on, we got a disease pandemic, we got big tech spying on us, social media censorship and thought manipulation, algorithmic manipulation to control people can see and hear. So you got the government locked on top of that. Yeah, I think we hit everything. We got Brave New World, 1984. Got a little bit of Animal Farm if you go back a couple decades.
I guess so.
Yeah, yeah, we did it. Is that
Yeah,
was that
good
the
for
goal?
us.
That's the joke I'm making with Jones though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that their map of what was going to happen was correct in terms of like who's responsible, but we're going to end up now quarantined, mandatory government injections, shut your
man.
business down.
I still can't believe that's real.
I mean, but we could argue just Dershowitz is a nut.
True.
But you know what happens after this is all over? There's some estimates say 40% of businesses will never reopen.
Yep.
And there's a study from Axios saying 100,000 businesses have already permanently shuttered.
Wow.
Those people are going to go work for big corporate chains afterwards.
It's the only choice to have.
Yep. Good
Yep.
work.
Yep. Yeah. Let's read a little bit more about this here fella. He says, there's not much vetting of who works there, and the amount of data that we're free to look through seems quite broad. It wouldn't be difficult to identify the person that you're listening to, especially with accidental triggers, addresses, names, and so on. The letter which Lebaniak sent to all European data protection regulators states, it is worrying that Apple, and undoubtedly not just Apple, keeps ignoring and violating fundamental rights and continues their massive collection of data. I am extremely concerned that big tech companies are basically wiretapping entire populations, despite European citizens being told the EU has one of the strongest data protection laws in the world. Passing a law is not good enough. It needs to be enforced upon privacy offenders. Lebaniak held a subcontractor position at Apple's Cork offices, where he listened to snippets in both English and French until resigning in 2019. They do operate on a moral and legal gray area, he told The Guardian at the time. And they have been doing this for years on a massive scale. They should be called out in every possible way. He continued to say that he would listen to thousands of recordings every day and have a range of Apple devices, including iPhones, Apple Watches, and iPads, any device that included Siri. Here's a question. Are you always listening? I only listen when you're talking to me. Mm-hmm. Aren't you always talking to her if you're asking her, saying her name?
Yeah, she thinks you're always talking to her. That's the loophole. There you go.
This is actually a really hilarious story. You know what? I'm also on the verge. I'm so close to myself. Firing up a hot bath, lighting some candles, and just laying back and just
setting the house on fire.
Just relaxing. Lower the blood temperature, the blood pressure a little bit. Like, here's a guy who a year ago said, "Excuse me, these big tech companies are violating our rights." Shh. They did nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Did nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I don't know. It's not really surprising. It's like they can pay to all these big companies. They're just paying the appropriate people to just continue on doing what they're doing. It's like, what is the average person supposed to do? What can they do? What can we do? You know, what is it?
If
Talk
I
about it?
said anything, we would be banned instantly. The stream would be cut off.
Exactly.
That's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Right.
Boogaloo is on the horizon.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
You feel like there's nothing you can do.
I agree. Boogaloo.
You've got people listening to you bang your significant other.
Yeah,
That's what he's saying.
It's messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like intentionally listening.
Yep.
It's
And
not
then
even
tracking
an
it for
accident.
improving it.
Improving it. Oh my gosh.
I don't at this point, you know, I wonder how much stress the people can take.
Yeah.
It's interesting because with the Boogaloos of the past, we haven't had the internet and mass spying, and the security apparatus of the state hasn't been this strong.
Right.
Now it's insanely strong.
Yeah.
But we do
strong.
have in a lot of areas the police refusing to enforce these rules.
Yeah, in certain states.
I shouldn't even call them rules.
Which is cool.
Decree.
Yeah,
So
decrees.
arbitrary.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's only a matter of time, I guess, before there's lines drawn between the mindless drones. Like New York City cops, I think, are the worst. They really don't care about the Constitution.
Yeah. They
really don't.
They really don't.
Small town cops, sheriffs, and local departments seem to.
Yep.
I'm surprised about the Belmar Police Department where they're doing this, and I have no respect for these mindless drones. I guess somebody associated with the gym said they're being forced to do it. That's just absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Forced to violate the Constitution. What is it? What? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, you got to make a choice, man. If someone tells you to break the law and you do it, you're responsible. Not the person who told. I mean, you could argue the person who told you to do it is responsible as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I guess people are just going to keep defending it until we run out of food, and that's what it's really about.
Once the food goes, then it doesn't matter what they say. People are going to riot.
Yep.
Yep. So maybe there won't be, though. Maybe they know that. Maybe they're just like, we'll just send food to your house. I don't know. It's because people need more than they need purpose. And now that people have none, they're getting antsy and they want to get back to work.
Yep.
Like, oh. A part of me feels like it's going to blow over, right? They're slowly reopening things.
Yeah, we keep saying that, though. And then a day goes by and something else happens that proves us wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I want to believe it, too. I really want to. You know, I want to be happy and jolly and live, and I want everyone to feel happy and satisfied in their life. You know, I want that. But there's people out here that feel like, it doesn't matter what you think. We're gonna do what we think is best for everyone, and you're gonna sit and take it.
They're burning down their own cities. They're burning down their own states.
You know, I wrote that song "Find Yourself" like 5 years ago, and man, listening to the lyrics. Reading the lyrics, like singing it, I'm like, man, it is so relevant now than ever before. It's insane.
What's it about?
It's about the people taking control and telling you what to believe and what you believe is wrong and what they say goes. And are you just going to sit there and swallow it and take it, or are you going to stand up and for your rights? You know?
Oh, that sounds like dangerous thinking, Adam. Best just stick to your work and.
Keep your head down, man.
Keep your head down.
Let's
You know?
start a boogaloo.
Oh man, I don't think I'm going to be the one who starts it. They're doing it to themselves.
Yeah, they're kind of asking for it.
That's what it feels
in
like.
many states, life has remained the same.
Yeah.
Like people who have locally sourced goods
Yeah.
probably haven't noticed a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's the big cities that are the most heavily impacted.
Yep.
It's also the big cities where the people mostly want to stay locked down. I think it's because these are, you've seen the Hunger Games.
I have.
You have the Capitol, And like everyone in the Capitol is like wearing weird clothes and they eat too much and then drink Ipecac, vomit, and then keep eating again.
Yeah.
That's how like gluttonous they are. Those are the cities. It really is. These are people who, the example I like to give is the bridges. Living in New York, you've got all these bridges just there.
Yep.
Never watched them be built.
Taken
Never
for granted.
Never did any work for them. Never built them, like paid for it or anything. Just there. I don't got to think twice. I don't got to pay anything.
Yeah.
It's just there for me. And so all of these people live in a world where they think things should just be there for them. And that's where they're at now. They're like, okay, we're not working. I mean, man, you know what? So many jobs in New York are not real jobs.
I agree.
Like, what's a good example of a fake job? BuzzFeed writer.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a fake job.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like a club promoter.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a job, but it's
No, that's a real job.
okay.
That's a real job.
Sure.
Letting people know about libations and dancing and relaxation.
Sure.
That's a real service for somebody.
Okay.
People need to really let off some steam and
Yeah.
go
Okay.
relax,
I could
right?
see that. Yeah.
A fake job is like scouring the internet to complain about what was that article we saw the other day? Ivanka Trump saying the word taken,
One
and then
word,
writing
yeah.
500 words about how it's alt-right and dangerous.
Yeah.
That is not a real job.
Okay. I can agree with you there.
So now that these people are no longer working their fake jobs, they still think things should just be given to them. So they're sitting in their cubicle apartments demanding the government pay them. And it only lasts so long until the government says no.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the people who live, out in the middle of nowhere, who have already, when we were driving to LA, we stopped in this town. I think it was in Arizona. I can't remember the name of it. No social distancing, no lockdown. Fast food chains were open. It was a very small town, by the way. And I went in, to get stuff. I had my mask, but I was like, nobody's wearing a mask. Nobody cares. So I grabbed some coffees. I grabbed, a sandwich, something, and I was paying for it. And I said, nobody's wearing a mask, no lockdown. And the lady laughed and she goes, no, we don't care about none of that. And I was like, really? You're not worried about getting sick? And she's like, nope, don't care. And I was like, what about, supply chain stuff? He goes, oh, we're all preppers. And I started laughing. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, the only thing we're worried about is when the power goes out. And I was like, does it happen a lot? And she goes, happens. Yeah. So we all have generators. And I was like, okay.
Yep.
Those people were ready.
Yeah. They did not care. That's self-reliance, because they have a town where they're like, we know where our food's at.
Yep.
It was funny. This lady told me, she's like, everything went down. My husband turns to me and says, do you think we have enough toilet paper? And I started laughing, and I was like, we're preppers. She's like, we've got like 3 months worth.
Yeah.
And she laughed about it, like, why would you even ask? I thought that was hilarious.
It's funny.
Yeah. So what happens to these cities? Like they're just decaying.
Yeah. I mean, if the food chain really does get disrupted, cities can't really exist anymore because it can't support that many people. Farmers that already have farms, that know their neighbors, that have trade systems that will be naturally built up, that's going to be what's going to survive. Big cities, people are just going to riot and then leave to go find, land where there is food.
Is this like a natural occurrence for like a
Maybe.
country where it's going to purge the left? I don't mean purge in like end their lives. I mean, the ideology is going to be crushed. And this we've already talked about this, like social justice stuff has been really, really pushed aside.
Yeah.
And like I was saying earlier, the culture war has now become about lockdown versus, opening up. Mm-hmm. But with people, so we actually have a funny story. Let's jump to this next story. Do I actually have it? I do. Here it
We
is.
do have it.
Oh, yeah. This is kind of funny.
Wealthy tenants are squatting in multi-million-dollar homes in the Hamptons and refusing to pay rent after NY issued a non-eviction order due to the coronavirus crisis.
Of course.
I will simultaneously say these people are extremely lucky, and they're also really bad people. So I'll give you the gist of the story. When the breakdown, when the lockdown started happening, wealthy people in New York fled, leaving behind all the poor people, all the shuttered businesses,
Right.
and they go to the Hamptons. Then New York State says moratorium on evictions. So the people who are in these big mansions now are like,
Sweet.
I was only planning on being here until August.
Yeah.
You can't evict me. I'm not paying.
Yep.
There you go.
That's crazy.
So basically, I bring this up in the context of, with these lockdowns, cities are, it's almost like a pressure is being applied to them that's forcing people out in various directions.
Yeah.
All of the wealthy people, though. What will this end up doing to these cities? They're going to lose massive political power. They're probably going to end up losing congressional seats because it's a census year. It's going to change the ideology of so many people. They take so many things for granted. And then I wonder if 2024, it's going to be, 538 Republican vote.
Yeah.
Like everybody is, when I heard that story of people in New York and LA like flocking to gun stores,
Yeah.
I laughed.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. All of a sudden now a crisis happens and they all instantly become Second Amendment advocates. Yeah. Let's read this story and see what the wealthy people are up to. And we'll talk, then we'll talk about New York collapsing. Some wealthy tenants in the Hamptons are using New York State's non-eviction order to squat in luxury while weathering out the coronavirus crisis, local landlords have claimed. One homeowner, who chose to remain anonymous but identified as middle class, said that short-term renters are overstaying at his property in Sag Harbor and refusing to pay rent. Properties in the Hamptons rent for much less in the winter and early spring months when the coronavirus outbreak began, but can ask for thousands more in the summer months. We're not talking about poor people, the anonymous individual told the Post. It's a very modest Sag Harbor house, and we use our summer rental to pay our son's school. The squatter was paying $3,600 a month between October and March, but claimed he didn't have rent for April and dismissed the homeowner's request to vacate the property. The landlord said he is now looking at huge losses for the year, $15,000 in May alone, with an extra $55,000 between Memorial Day and Labor Days. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has postponed rent payments until at least the 20th of August to help those struggling during the coronavirus crisis. The owner believes his tenants are using it as a free stay in his Long Island property.
Oh, that's definitely what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Similar scenes are playing out along the string of affluent seaside communities. A female landlord in Watermill said her tenants, a mother and daughter, stopped paying their $1,600 rent in March when Governor Cuomo announced the move. This is what people do. Why would anybody pay if they were told they didn't have to? They don't care about you.
Exactly.
The government said, don't pay. I'm not going to pay. That's crazy, man. There's no community left. So I'm really curious about where this all ends up. They're talking about the new normal, What's the new normal after this? No one shakes hands anymore. We all bow. We act very Asian-like.
Yeah, maybe.
Lots of masks.
A lot of masks. It is. The customs, people wear masks more often. They don't shake hands. They bow. And that'll be just inherent social distancing. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if the new normal is going to be New York loses 3 congressional seats. I'm exaggerating greatly. They've lost 420,000 wealthy people.
Yeah.
But how many other people have fled the city? How many people have left Los Angeles or spread out? Maybe this was going to, greatly. I mean, look, I'm talking about getting out of Jersey, a blue state, and going somewhere else where I can be free, and not have to deal with this stuff.
Yeah.
So these people are absolutely taking advantage of this, and I these are New York City folk, man. I'm not surprised. When given the opportunity, they take advantage. They're not poor. They don't want to pay. They won't.
Yep.
They say the homeowner has cancer and is looking to start chemotherapy soon.
Oh.
She said she is afraid she will lose her home and doesn't know how she'll cope with the stress of that and treatment. She could be earning $90,000 this summer, she told the Post, and she even offered the tenants a one-off payment to coax them out before peak season. And now, there we go. I've offered money to leave and even found her other places to move to that she could afford, but they aren't in the Hamptons, and she is refusing to leave, the tenant said. She added, this is when we make our money in the summer. The tenant is looking for a free rent in the Hamptons. I'm really confused by this story because I don't know exactly how Antifa and the far left will react to it.
Yeah.
Who am I supposed to be mad at? The rich people refusing to pay their fair share or the wealthy landlords from the Hamptons?
Right.
It's just rich people refusing to
pay
each other.
What the heck?
It reminds me of this article that I read. It was silly. It was basically this person complaining that they found out they were being overcharged for everything from their private jet. Like everything costs way too much. They're overcharging me on my every service on my private jet, and I was just like, "What are you? Who are you talking to? Like, who's this article
Who's
for?
reading it?
Yeah, what?
I'm not your target audience.
I don't care.
I don't
The 7
know.
people.
You have the money. What does it matter? Pay
What are
it.
you complaining
I don't
about?
care.
You know what's really really weird
Come
about
on.
there really is this really interesting class divide. Mm-hmm. So I know people who do almost no work and make ridiculous amounts of money just because of the class they are in.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. If you're lower class and you make minimum wage, and then you are like, hey, look, I made this necklace. Someone will be like, I'll give you $5 for it. If you are upper class and you're sitting on the beach of, you're in what's that place in Spain? I can't think of the name. Ibiza.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
I knew what you were talking about.
Yes, Ibiza. So you're sitting on this crystal, shore, clear waters.
Yep.
And you lean over and you're like, I made this beautiful necklace. Ooh, I want it. How much? $1,000. Okay.
Oh.
That's seriously what it's like. It's
Yep.
it's amazing. So I know people who are just in the upper class, and they talk about a basic job that normally would be cheaper, but because they're rich,
Yep.
they simply just charge that much money. And it's like they all pay it to each other, so it creates this economy at an upper level. And once you break into that, then you can bask in that as well. And there are other ways to make a lot of money, volume and stuff. But it's fascinating to me when I've met people who are like, I'm going to get a job starting at this tech firm. I know the person who runs it. They're going to pay 6 figures. And I'm like, why would they do that? That's just because they're all part of the same class.
Who
and
you know.
And it's also like the clothes you make,
Yep.
right? Like look at Gwyneth Paltrow's stuff.
Oh.
Like is the goop stuff she makes in any way that special?
It's gross.
It's
Do you
very
ever
gross.
see the show called The Real Hustle?
No.
It was a British show. I think it was British, and it was 3 con artists explaining various cons. It's an awesome show. One of them, they rent a pop-up storefront, and they bought like Lubriderm lotion,
Okay.
and they just repackage it in these tiny little bottles, and they give it a brand name like Mountain Mist Made,
Okay.
and then they sell it for like $30, and they just brag about how it's the best.
Yeah.
And people pay for it.
Wow.
And that's kind of like what it is when you're doing trade among people who are poor, you can only ask for so much because of how much they have. When you're doing trade among people who are rich, you can ask for obscene amounts of money because they just have it and they pay what they, disposable income, like, oh yes, absolutely. And so then you have a lot of people, man, I know some people who are rich and work like once every 3 years.
It's crazy.
Yep. They'll be like, I got one project to work on this week, and then they get $300,000, and then they're like, I just, spread it out over 3 years. Just, $8,000 a month to spend and do whatever I want, fly around, take, every weekend, fly to Europe for a vacation and then fly back and just do one thing every few years. And that's how it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are making decisions too. Those are the people that are in charge. They're the ones in the government. They get a hold of that. They like you said, it's like you can get into that and then you become used to it. And that's the type of mentality you gain.
Absolutely.
Also. So these officials, they might champion for the people, but then they get in there and then they're like, all right, now I'm on a different stage, a different level. So I'm gonna stay here and I don't want to lose this power. And I'm gonna make decisions for everyone.
AOC's a great example.
Exactly.
Everyone makes fun of her because she was a bartender, and I'm like, I actually think that's kind of endearing.
Yeah.
That she was a regular American and she won, and now she's in Congress.
Now.
Yeah, right. Now she squanders all of that goodwill
Right.
by being an insufferable, what's the word I'm looking for? Just desperate for fame and attention.
Yeah.
Ostentatious. Very, very, very much that. She goes on Twitter and she says things that are bombastic and insightful, and it's just doing nothing for nobody.
Inciting.
I think she might lose. New York is going to be a transformed place.
Yeah.
I think she might lose, man. I watched a part of that debate that she did with that other lady, and I feel like she's going to lose.
Hope so.
Because she's an internet candidate. She's not a candidate of a place.
Yeah.
She's Twitter's candidate.
That's a good point.
Twitter's not going to elect her, though.
No.
It's her district that'll elect her.
And good.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Yep. We've all seen what Twitter is like. But I can't predict. I can see so many potential futures. What could happen after all this is over.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to know. It's hard to know. I absolutely don't. Can only just speculate. With losing 420,000 people, rich people who are now squatting in the Hamptons in a census year, does that mean what in 2022 that New York City loses a district?
Probably.
It could be AOC's. They've been talking about getting rid of her district.
Oh, already?
Yeah. And what about all these other cities? Or better yet, what if people already filled out their census and are now gone permanently? And so now you have smaller populations with disproportionate amount of power. And then you'll end up seeing really weird things from this. Like New York City has less people, but somehow is overrepresented. And then you'll end up with an inversion where the popular vote goes to the Republican because there's more people outside of cities.
It might, it might. Okay, so I was thinking about this while you were talking. It might go that way because the people who have to stay in the city are the people who do the blue collar jobs, the essential workers. And those people tend to be less college educated, which I'm going to say it, they tend to vote Republican. They tend to be conservative. So when the time comes for them to vote, they're going to vote Republican. And we're going to see, I think you're right. I think it's going to flip. It's going to be really weird.
Flip in what way do you mean, though?
Toward the Republicans.
Like New York City?
Yeah, like that region.
I think AOC's district could turn red.
I'm curious.
Because normally, like when she ran, there was no real Republican contender because it's a D+30 district.
Okay.
But I think it's possible that AOC it's possible. I'm not saying to what percentage I know for sure, but she's so unpopular. It's possible she's so unpopular that now that you see all these Republicans are running, they launch real campaigns, generate real support, and then win.
Yeah.
So I know it's a D+30 district, but AOC, I think she only got like, I don't how many can you look up how many votes she got?
17,000, I thought.
No, in the general.
Oh yeah, I'll look.
In the general election.
Yeah, 1 sec.
So I think it was something like 170 maybe, I'm not entirely sure, out of 750,000. That means even though it's a D+30 district, if the 20 or 30% of Republicans who lived there actually all voted,
Yeah.
they'd win.
Yeah.
And the district in New York would turn red. That would be insane. Absolutely insane. Did you find it or no? Well, forget it.
No,
Let's
it's
just
annoying.
Let's just jump to super chats.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna jump to super chats.
Take it away.
So
Yeah, super
Super
chats.
important.
So YouTube is broken. As for those that have been watching, we mentioned this. I have no idea.
Oh, it's still frozen.
totally frozen. Yeah.
We got
But-
almost 11,000 people watching right now.
Oh, right on.
So-
But we do have the super chats. So if you haven't already, hop in the super chat, smash that like button, everybody
it.
right now, because
I already did.
we are in. What's a better example of everyone? The Hunger Games. We're in the Hunger Games.
Maybe like
not
a
a good-
prequel.
No, I mean like
Aren't they? Isn't they?
with
aren't
Joe
they
Rogan
writing a prequel
I mean,
too?
I mean with
also?
Joe Rogan leaving. Yeah,
Oh,
they are. It's like a
yeah.
TV show, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
interested. That sounds fun. With Joe Rogan leaving YouTube, you know, now we all have to fight and knock each other off the mountain as we climb
okay.
to the top.
That's what you're talking about.
Right. So I'm basically saying we are now entering in the political commentary podcasting, cultural podcasting space a death match.
I will represent us, Tim.
We are going to
Isn't that how it works?
Yeah,
I
that's,
don't
I think that's
we are
the
going to be
symbol.
been a while.
crawling over bodies and rubble as we claw our way to the top, where we'll finally plant the flag with our clothes tattered, eye hanging out, blood everywhere. It's ours.
I say.
It's ours.
Slam that flag down.
But the only way we'll do it is if you smash the like button. I'm actually half kidding. But hop in the super chat if you want. We're going to read your comments now, and then, just whatever, complain about stuff, I guess. Seems to be what we always do. Mm-hmm. Oh, do you have the Babylon Bee list? Did you pull it up?
I could.
Pretty
quickly.
The first comment is, hey, Tim, the Babylon Bee made a list of overly gendered language to make fun of the UN list. Also, happy World Bee Day. The bug bee, not the satire bee.
The Babylon Bee. Yes.
It's
The
so
Babylon Bee.
funny. I'll pull it up.
I'll drop it in the list so we can pull it up.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, laughing.
Patrick says, Matt Lauer's critique of the R. Pharaoh book. This is insane. Matt Lauer proved, as far as I can tell, confirmed, Ronan Farrow lied in his book as it pertains to Matt Lauer. This is crazy. I owe Matt Lauer an apology. I absolutely do. I can't say for everything, but I can say that I have frequently said Matt Lauer was a bad person. Mediaite published this story from Matt Lauer and independently confirmed that Ronan Farrow didn't fact check and actually, I'm gonna call it like I see it, lied. One of the things they call out, this is crazy, is that Ronan Farrow said that he had discovered 7 other women who had, complained about sexual harassment who had worked for Matt Lauer. And at first reading it, I'm like, okay, what's the catch? And then Matt Lauer points it out. It wasn't about him. It was just 7 women he had worked with at some point who had complained about other people. But Ronan Farrow framed it that way to make it seem like they were all complaining about Matt Lauer, like he was this bad guy. They also apparently debunked this crazy story that he had a button on his desk that would lock the door to his room. Crazy stories. But according to, so he writes this, and then Mediaite, and they're a lefty publication. published a note saying they contacted 4 witnesses for each of these different points made by Lauer and independently verified this was true. Roan and Farrow didn't fact check these things. The story was fake news. This is huge. So maybe I'll cover it more in depth tomorrow, but prepare to see. I'm going to say, you know what, man? This is preliminary. I don't know to what extent this is likely to occur. I think Harvey Weinstein might actually petition for a retrial based on the information that just came out about all this, arguing that it was fake news.
Yeah,
you want to read these?
Oh my gosh.
Here.
Go ahead,
Do
pop
we
it up.
Pulled up?
Yeah, I do.
There we go. Oh, sweet. Yes.
So this is the list.
Are we gonna get in trouble for this?
Maybe.
I don't know. It's hilarious.
So
Worth
the UN published a list of words you're supposed to say. Babylon Bee wrote a funnier one. So the one written by the UN made no sense. It said, like, instead of saying landlord, say owner, which is like 100
Don't
times
say
more
that.
racist and offensive than.
Yeah, don't say that.
So this is great. I love this one. Nurse, female almost doctor. Stewardess. Don't say stewardess, say plain wench. Don't say doctor, say medicine man. Don't say president, say presidude. Don't say letter carrier, say mail man, and that's M-A-L-E. Don't say husband, say master. That one's bold.
I love it.
Don't say pastor, say preacher man. Scientist is mansplainer. Video game healer is character option for girls.
Oh my goodness.
I like playing healer sometimes. It's fun.
I do too,
Yeah.
actually.
Instead of saying manager, say boss man. Instead of saying housekeeper, say wife. And secretary is phone answering lady. The Babylon Bee is great. Man.
They're really good.
They
Oh my
are
gosh.
killing it, man.
They really are.
Wonderful. I'm so glad they updated that list for us.
Yeah. All right. Let's go
Thank
back
you,
to
Babylon.
let's go back to these super chats. Odiz says, greetings from Sweden. Adam,
What
if
up?
you and your wife are ever close to Stockholm, I'll take you horse riding. My treat
cool.
as thanks. Tim can come too.
Very
Sounds cool.
Well,
That sound good?
what you can do is
Yeah.
follow Adam.
Cool.
Where- It's over there.
Yeah, follow me
Oh, down there.
and hit me up. That sounds awesome. We actually did live outside Stockholm for a little while, and it's a beautiful area. It's cool.
If you guys want to submit
Horseback riding?
story ideas, follow Adam and you can send him information, stories,
Send them my way.
pictures.
over there on the other side of the screen. You can see
Yeah,
it.
down at the bottom.
Adam Krieger.
And then you can also follow me just down there at Timcast. If you want to see skateboarding and cats and stuff on Instagram or
Yep.
on Twitter, I complain about culture and politics.
Oh yeah, I'm on Instagram also. Hit me up on Instagram
Oh yeah.
Skateboarding, cats, and complaints.
and YouTube.
Let's see, where we at? Nathan says, broke out my Enjoy board this week and realized all of my shoes are destroyed. What brands do you and Adam like? I have skated Emerica Reynolds shoes for years. Before that, I was Osiris, DC, and Etnies.
We both rock Vans for the longest time. You skate in Vans.
One pair. I'm riding
Really?
Footpath right now.
Well, now you are. You just switched shoes today.
Well, yeah, but I had one pair of Vans. I had those Footpaths longer than I had these Vans.
Okay,
I have
but
a
you
lot
never
of Vans,
skated
though.
them though.
The Footpath ones?
Yeah.
No, I have 3 pairs. I actually don't like 2 of them. The ones I'm wearing now are amazing.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of skating Vans, but since I've been vegan, I've been trying to get vegan versions of things, and there's Vans like the canvas Vans. They just shred apart so
you skate
fast.
one day.
I know, and the
They're
whole,
gone.
and then all of a sudden my foot's getting ripped up. But I mean, the shoe goo.
Boom.
That honestly, any
secret
shoe
technique, bro.
that I get, I could just put that on and it just will work fine. Because I got the vegan Etnies. They actually have like a whole section of these pretty awesome shoes. They're really good, and
It's like vegan suede or something.
no, I mean they're it's pretty much the same. I mean there's this plastic part that comes up on the lip where you would kick.
Yeah, right.
So it's pretty sweet. I like them a lot. They're really comfortable.
Canvas wears down a lot, but the secret
Yeah.
for all of you who want to skate,
Here it is.
so there's something called shoe goo. It's basically like a rubber cement.
Yeah.
Don't put that on your shoe after you've worn a hole into it. This is what I see so many people do.
Yeah.
They'll skate their shoe, they'll get a hole, and then they'll put shoe goo over the hole. Nah. Put shoe goo over the stitching
Yep.
and the side of the laces, and you will never have
Right
to
away.
worry about it. The
Right
first thing
away.
you do right when you buy the shoe. So I have these. I'm gonna give a shout out to Neen Williams, by the way. He's a pro skateboarder. He did this promo for Footpath, and so I got some shoes.
They're pretty dope.
They're amazing.
I mean, they're
These
suede,
are
but
really good
they're
shoes.
dope. Yeah.
So I would skate Vans, and then I burned my Vans out, and now I have this pair that I haven't skated in yet, and I skated them today, and they're epic. So I put a thin layer of shoe goo around the stitching, which guarantees they'll never break.
Wow.
It's they'll eventually break, right? What I mean is they won't break soon.
Yeah.
So, Before this, I've been skating Vans for years, and I really like Decline shoes. And the first,
I've skated those. Those are good.
My favorite shoes when I was a thermoplaster that I'd skate all the time were the Reynolds. The first ones were the Reynolds that were like, they looked, man, what they were like, the whole thing was rubber basically. It had like ridiculous amounts of thermoplastic rubber toe cap.
Yeah.
But then eventually I liked the America Bevel was one of my favorite shoes ever.
I don't know.
It was just a thin, I love the really, really thin shoes. Just the feel the board. Light and thin. I don't care about cushioning. I don't need that padding, junk or whatever.
I have some skater friends that swear by the Nike SBs. They're really light. I've never actually skated them, but I picked them up and I'm like, wow, they're really light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Light is good.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Ed Abysmal, thanks for the super chat. Mark Robert Shaw says, after this, I'm going to watch Joe Rogan's podcast with Tony Hawk. Rip YouTube, your monopoly is coming to an end, as all monopolies do, and I bet Tim will vote Trump because of the economy. That's seeming like a good possibility, simply because I if the Democrats could muster anyone, I've been begging, please, just pick somebody who can talk. No, sorry.
Asking too much
there. You would be insane to think that after all of this, the president who has advocated for lifting the restrictions, whose attorney general has advocated for the Constitution, and who has actually proven on the economy, you'd be crazy if you think Biden is going to be the person that people want. That's just psychotic in my opinion. Yeah. The only people I think who would vote for Biden are Trump derangement syndrome people.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like you really it's like Bill Maher when he said
vote blue no matter who.
No. Yes, Bill Maher said if the recession gets rid of Trump, bring on the recession.
Yeah, I remember that.
That is beyond a Trump derangement syndrome. That is like, I want everyone to suffer so that I can feel better because the orange man is gone. Yeah, that's insane, dude. My attitude is different. My attitude is the economy needs to be repaired so that people can get on with their lives and be happy and be free and Yeah. And that if that means the mean nasty guy wins, I'm like, well, it's for the good of the people, not for what I think is the right thing.
I couldn't help myself.
He's spinning the UFO.
I noticed it wasn't spinning, and I looked down at chat, and someone was like, "Spin the UFO."
Spin UFO.
And I was like, I got you.
Looking out for you. He
there
hears
it
your
is.
prayers.
I see people spinning it. They're saying, "Spin it, spin it." Yay. And now there's actually a lag on the stream, so I can see the chats coming in where they're yelling "spin it," but on the actual stream you haven't done it yet.
Yay.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, let's read some more. Roberto, thanks for the super chat. Minimax says, glad to hear that Joe Rogan Experience will still have video. Will still have video on Spotify. That way we can all see the gumbo on Tim's shirt if/when he's back on. That's right, the gumbo. Meximan says, idea to a great community. Video of Joe sniffing and groping with VO of the women and girls whispering, blue no matter who, blue no matter who.
Oh no,
sad.
It's dramatic.
Brian said, I cannot read what Brian says. Charles says, the UK just made organ donations a opt-out system. So all adults now, if they know it or not, are organ donors. As an organ donor, that creeps me out. Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Drunk Shovel says, rev up those big igloos because I am sure sick of the degeneration of our civil liberties. Yep. R. Cali says, Tulare County in California just reopened defying the governor. Wow. I've been to Tulare.
Awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah. Josh says, Tim, come to Madison. Great city with a lot of opportunity, plus cheaper rent than Jersey. Plus you won't be too far from Chicago. I don't like Chicago. Apple says, hey guys, heard one of you were playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. Don't care about the story or graphics, but thoughts on the materia system in the game.
I really liked it. I wish there was more.
Was it the same as the original?
Yeah, they kept it really close. It's when you master it, you don't get a new one. So I was like a little bummed. And it felt really... It felt like they are leaving it so that when they bring out episode 2, that maybe you can upgrade it more. I'm not really sure. I'm speculating there, but I did enjoy it. I liked it.
Cool. Roberto says, Yo quiero soy taco. What? I am taco.
I want. Yeah, I don't know.
Idjit says, I've been baking a ton of sourdough bread through this quarantine. I'm really happy for all the people who have been able to work on their hobbies during their free time. People have been going nuts on sourdough.
Why are they baking
There's like
so
viral
much?
Memes of making sourdough.
This is all we wanted to do while we're working.
To be honest, we've made a ton of bread too.
Yeah, we have.
Whoa. We is not correct.
We have bakers.
I have yet to make any bread.
Your peripheral involvement is all that
of
is
me
required.
going, bread.
Yes, delicious.
Okay.
How about we were making a bread and Lydia put butter in it, and I said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And then I rinsed it out, and you said, thanks, Tim.
That's true.
That was it.
You did contribute.
That was
I
it.
forgot about my vegan people, and I put butter in. Boo.
I got to respect that.
Yeah, we were greasing the pan, and I was like, we have peanut oil instead of butter.
Like, oh yeah, I just always use butter.
Yeah.
I have eaten the bread though.
Not the butter.
We made a lot.
I have consumed the bread. It has been
It's
delicious.
fun. We made a lot of instant breads, beer breads, and stuff.
Oh, we got to get more of
gosh,
that beer
yes.
bread.
We have a ton.
We have a ton.
Let's
We just need to make it.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's some in there now.
Yeah.
I refuse to make bread. Now I have to stand by my
Okay.
principles.
That's fair.
We also got a bunch of this like, it's gluten-free sourdough, but it lasts forever.
Oh, it's good.
It's like the best bread. It's like the best gluten-free bread.
Interesting.
As good as it can get.
Yeah.
But it's like it doesn't need to be refrigerated, and it lasts for months. Because I think it's because it's made of rice.
Yeah.
And like potato flour or something. But it's really good. It's really
Cool.
good. Oh, here we go. Kyla says carbon fiber decks. Check Lithe skateboards. Also go to DKL skateboarding and check the non-abrasive grip. Braille covered both. Ooh, so is the non-abrasive grip kind of like a plastic sticky thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Interesting.
That would be really interesting.
Non-abrasive.
Your shoes will last forever.
Yeah. I like
Ooh,
it.
I'm gonna
That
check it
sounds
out.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jeb Reed says open combat coming to the USA starts July 4th. We'll see. Amon Sol says if you don't like your government, follow the Constitution and abolish it, create something new. One of my favorite memes was V for Vendetta with the headset on, and the top text is your government is doing what? Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Do
one.
it.
Turning it off and back on again. Let's see. Yiz says false hope from the right, empty promises from the left, fake news 24/7. If Wu Flu revealed anything, is that our leadership doesn't care about us. Yes, they don't.
Yeah, I've been
Yep.
telling you this.
A tiny fraction of people. Michelle Mybell says Governor DeSantis took the media out behind the woodshed. He is my government employee of the day. He really did.
Oh man,
He took them to task.
did not pull punches.
Look, man, they have attacked South Dakota and Florida, but New York is the death pit. Okay, New York is the epicenter. It's where most people have lost their lives. Yet the media keeps attacking all these Republican states for not locking down, and they did everything to the best of their ability, relatively better than New York did.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy that these states that were like, we're locking down, and now more people are dead there. And the states that were like, we're not going to lock down, everything's better.
Yep.
Perhaps the sunlight and being outside was the smart move.
Yeah. Maintaining your immune system. That's what those doctors were talking about.
Yep. And they got deleted from YouTube for it.
Yep.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is.
Jack said, JCAC says, so Oklahoma is trying to pass an anti-red flag law. Interesting.
Good.
Graf von Tyrol says, I have no horse in this race, but I am loving this Keemstar versus H3 fight. I know nothing of this.
I don't know. Either.
My drama is limited to things of political relevance. No Control says, Tim, come to Atlanta, low cost of living, lots of Hollywood types around for interviews, flights to every city all day long. But isn't it muggy? Have you been to Atlanta? So humid,
Yes,
right?
I have.
Oof.
It's humid, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Ooh.
Once you get to the lower half of the states, it gets pretty muggy.
If I can get a
It's
warehouse,
it's not as bad as Florida.
Florida
but
was nuts, man.
Not many states are as bad as Florida.
When we lived in Miami, there's like 2 months where you could go outside. It's like either
It was
boiling
brutal.
hot and humid, and every
you
single
have to swim through the air.
yeah, right. Every single building, the windows are drenched in condensation.
Yep.
Because the air conditioning on inside.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure about this. Miami has a statue for the guy who invented air conditioning.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yep, that sounds about right.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's
Good
like
idea.
all the people who begrudgingly lived in that place, and then air conditioning got invented, and now they're like, yes,
we can
now
live
we
here.
Now we can be comfortable.
Thank you.
Let's see. The Gray Gamer says, would you allow your fans to try and save your channel if YouTube? I've been watching you for years now every day. If you just disappeared, something would definitely be missing from my daily life.
That's nice to say.
I mean, look, if whenever videos get taken down of mine, I contact people at Google and I'm like, like screaming.
Just like that. Yeah, like a cat.
And for the most part, there's hard lines where they're like, too bad,
Okay.
so sad.
Yeah.
I got really close to destroying everything, I'll be honest.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, when they told me I couldn't say the name Voldemort, I sent legal threats.
Wow.
Like I went nuts. And then I actually planned on doing a recorded video where I explained everything and said the guy's name as often as possible and then uploaded it for every segment of the day.
Wow.
I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a graphic. And then they like got back to me. There was some de-escalation, and then basically what they told me was, it's kind of like we're waiting until it enters the national conversation when bigger outlets are covering it and people feel more comfortable and it's a bigger story. And so I was like, okay, I'll wait, I guess. And then they never released the lockdown. Like, you cannot say the name. I was really close, just like, you know what, I'm done with this. Because that's scary, dude. Rand Paul spoke on the Senate floor and Google said, we don't care. You can't say this. They took down
that video.
C-SPAN.
Yeah, it's crazy.
C-SPAN.
The most boring channel in the world.
The most boring channel.
Yep.
Because Rand Paul was talking on the Senate floor in a live C-SPAN video. YouTube deleted it.
I have to hold back a yawn.
Ah.
I'm so over that conversation.
Look up Rand Paul. You'll be inspired.
STFU says, I talk fast because it's complicated and I'm going to leave it there since I'm 1/4 Asian and grew up in Chicago, but I'm a milquetoast fence sitter. D-Ho says, dear people, eat grass like deer, moans like people. Chuck Morris says, hitting you up from the Midwest. The virus is not a thing here. In Kansas, 10 acres and 2 ponds. Fishing and ducks, you can't win. Louis Estrada says, Tim Pool, will you ever go back to do on-the-ground interviews, or is Antifa too wild nowadays? That was basically the gist of it. As time went on and I gained more followers, it wasn't just about Antifa. It was about other people just generally trolling and harassing. So it's like there was one moment where I went to cover something and I had literally a guy chasing me around giggling and laughing and screaming my name and trying to get Antifa to find me.
Wow.
And the police said, we're like, it's free speech. You can't do anything about it. And I was like, he's inciting people to attack me. And they're like, okay, well then when he does. And I'm like, that means I have to stand next to you the whole time. And the cop was like, yep.
Great.
So it just became a waste of time. That's unfortunate. Timothy E says, Tim, moved to Kansas City, cheap international airport, light traffic, Kansas or Missouri, you ask? Yes.
Missouri.
But it's gotta be East Coast, man.
Missouri's muggy also.
Yeah.
That's true. Very green. It's very cool.
It's hard to find somewhere that isn't muggy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Desert.
That's a good point.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different kind of
humidity,
heat though.
Yeah. You need a little.
Arizona?
Yeah.
Is it mountain time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Or besides
Actually,
the
no.
daylight savings
Arizona
time
never
thing.
changes.
Yeah.
It's always the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but I mean like
what
mountain
it is.
time zone.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay, Dr. B says, I pity the pool who don't read my super chat. Well, I just did. Thorin says, let's all take a moment to appreciate exactly how much power the establishment is attempting to grab. It's like Leia said, yeah, I went there, fight me. The harder you tighten your grip, the more they slip through your fingers. Ooh, interesting. Alex Aiello says, the Snyder Cut is near. DC Redemption arc. I am excited for this.
I hope so.
I'm excited for this. Because this is controversial apparently, but I like DC more than Marvel.
Ooh.
Yes.
Spicy.
We went to, I can't remember what movie we went to see.
Yeah, but this is probably long-standing, though. It's not like the new movies have swayed you. You probably liked DC more than Marvel for a long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes sense. Look, they're both, it's like Marvel's a 9.5 and DC's a 10. You know what I mean?
What's
it's
the
like
X-Men? Is that Marvel?
Marvel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was a big X-Men fan.
Yeah, X-Men's cool. One way it was explained to me is that DC is heroes trying to be like people, and Marvel is people trying to be heroes. It's actually an interesting way to explain it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I like Batman. I think what I like. There's issues with Batman. He's just like super rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was trained really, really well. The contrast between him and say like Iron Man in terms of their abilities is that Iron Man isn't. He's just an arrogant, drunk genius.
Right.
Batman was peak physical human condition, and I really like that.
Yeah.
That you have. What I really, really liked about DC was the fact that, and Marvel does have these heroes too, especially the MCU. Most of the MCU characters, I believe, don't have any superpowers. It's just technology, gadgets, and stuff.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah. But some of them do have
like
powers.
Ant-Man, it's just technology. Yeah.
Technology, and then Falcon technology, Iron Man, War Machine technology.
War Machine, yeah.
Yeah. And then a couple of them have powers. But in most of the Marvel stuff I would read and stuff I would see growing up, it's like they all had powers. But then you have DC, and I remember this. I can't remember exactly what happened in one of the Justice League cartoon episodes. It's probably in the comic too, where they're trying to interrogate someone and he's laughing and mocking them. And then Batman walks up and whispers to him, and the guy panics and just says, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. And that was really awesome that, Batman doesn't have powers, but through hard work, perseverance, training, and intelligence, he was he's like the most powerful hero basically.
Yeah.
And one thing I know this is going to spark a debate among comic fans, but one of the ideas is that Batman can defeat literally anyone with enough time.
Okay.
I'm sure there's an argument like he'll never beat Galactus or something, but like
Or Darkseid. It's like,
no, he will. Absolutely.
okay.
100%.
By himself.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he beat Superman.
Okay.
That's why Batman versus Superman.
Kryptonite.
It wasn't even just about the kryptonite. But yes.
Wait, our mothers have the same name?
That was
Oh
so
Isn't
my
that what it was? Is
gosh.
that what you're talking about?
Never
The
again.
cringy moment.
Never again.
The actual comic was great.
It's like, oh my god.
Older Batman beat Superman to let him know, like, you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And they could have done that in the movie. I don't get it. Okay, you guys have seen Batman versus
All
Superman,
they had to say
right?
right there in that
This-
moment.
Here's the scene. Batman is wearing the armor and it's all messed up, and he finally just bests Superman, and he takes the spear with kryptonite, and then he's about to finish him off, and then, Lois comes in, and she's like, no, and then he's like, get out of the way or whatever, and then he says, you're letting him kill Martha, and he goes, why did you say that name? And he goes, no, our moms have the same name. No. And that changed everything. It's the stupidest thing ever.
I hate it so much.
I'll tell you
It
what
was
should have
bad.
happened. Batman's entire arc in that movie was basically that Superman was too powerful, and if he wanted to, he could destroy everything, and no one could do a damn thing about it. That's what he says.
Yep.
And so what should have happened is right when he finishes off, he beats Superman, and he grabs the spear, he should have looked over Superman and said, let this be the day you never forget the day I defeated you, and then throw the spear aside and start to
Boom.
walk away.
Done.
And the whole point was Batman isn't evil. He doesn't want to kill Superman. He wants him to know he isn't a god.
Maybe the Snyder Cut, maybe he did that. Maybe it's supposed to be darker and different, right?
Yes, I'm excited for this.
Although that's not the same, right? That's Batman versus Superman, not the Justice League, right?
That was Batman vs Superman. Justice League, they resurrect him.
But that's the Snyder Cut. We're gonna
Justice League, yeah.
It's Justice League. Okay, so it's
And the
we won't get
choices
that.
they made. What do they not have any fans making these movies? You know what the secret is though? It's Kevin Feige, because he's basically hit a home run on every single
What has he done?
MC movie, all the MCU movies, all of them.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah. He's like the main dude.
Okay,
Captain Marvel, I kind of roll my eyes at.
I liked it.
For me, it's like they squeezed in too much desperate,
I
weird.
could see what you're talking about, but I mean, when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is a good movie. I liked it.
I don't know. No, there's no stakes. Her powers are weird. It's like they were talking about how she was the most powerful hero.
Yeah.
And then even in Endgame, it really, really hurt the film.
Yeah.
That it's like
She didn't make sense in that.
when Thanos headbutts her, and then she just like smirks. I'm like, oh, come on, give me some stakes.
Yeah.
Don't just whack me over the face with like, we get it. She's super powerful and no one can hurt her. And then Thanos grabs the Power Stone and then hits her with it, and that's finally how, you know what, man? You make a character with no flaws, and that's the flaw. An arrogant narcissist, overpowered. Just spare me, dude. I do not want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see them fix the DC movie universe. Birds of Prey, dude.
Aquaman 2 is super easy. All you got to do is just replace Amber Turd.
Yep. That's all you have to do.
Amber
Done. Done. Boom.
You know what's crazy
And
about?
I'll be excited about that movie.
What's crazy about the Aquaman movie is that it actually was good. I really, really liked it.
I thought so too. I liked it.
The underwater fights between him and what's the other guy's name?
His
Oren?
brother or
Yeah, Oren
or
or
his
whatever.
half brother, the half brothers. I don't know.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, really cool
It was
scene.
epic.
Yeah, I liked it.
But the scoring was just off.
Oh, the music?
Yes.
Huh.
Like when
I can't think of it, but
when the dude's in the sinking submarine and his dad's dying or whatever.
oh yeah, that
The
scene.
music, it just came off as like a parody of it almost. Like I was like watching SNL version of it.
That
making
was a
fun of it.
little. That felt forced. That whole scene. Anyway,
just didn't
not
do
even
it well
talking
enough.
about the music. That
It
whole
was-
scene was just like, why are you trying to get, like, what's going on here?
I think it was too slow of a death.
Yeah, maybe.
It should have been faster. It should have been like at the last minute, his dad like
Like the torpedo hit him and not like, and just crushed him immediately.
Or like when in the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Yondu puts the spacesuit on Peter.
Yeah,
and then
saves him.
And then saves him, and then he slowly dies, and Peter's going, no.
That was awesome.
Right.
What an epic scene.
It could have been something like they're sinking, and then the dad takes off his his son's respirator fails, and then he takes his off and gets to his kid, and then pulls the cord, and then air shoots out, and he goes no, and he gets shot up to the surface, and then his dad. They could have done something like that. But anyway, that movie was good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
The timing is weird though. How like in Justice League, the chronology is before Aquaman.
Right.
But he goes and
They
gets like a
introduced
trident.
Aquaman. Well, I mean, people
know
liked it. They like him. I like him. He's cool.
Yeah,
Was it
what,
Jason
Jason
Momoa?
Momoa?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a cool actor. I liked him in that movie.
DC, I think the Warner Brothers stuff, they were trying to race to Avengers.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a problem.
They should have done it.
Don't stop
Batman
trying to be
movie?
Stop trying to be them.
They
Do your own thing. People are gonna like it.
Well, no, what they should have done is you have to build up to the ensemble cast. You
Yeah.
can't just start with it.
Yeah.
And what were they thinking, man? Like the MCU was built up over a decade.
That's true. Yeah.
Of introducing these movies, and then
When did Iron Man 1? That was the first one, right?
I think it was
Iron Man 1?
2008,
2008.
2008 or 9.
Wow.
I think the Hulk was like 07 or something.
But
And
that
then-
was the first Hulk, right? With Edward Norton?
No. The first Hulk was with Eric Bana.
Oh, yeah,
I think.
that's
and then,
right.
And then Marvel Studios took it over and then did with Edward Norton.
Right.
At the end of that, the General what's-his-face meets with Tony Stark. Because they were I think in the beginning they weren't planning on doing this big MCU.
Yeah.
They were just promoting the next film.
Right.
And it was one universe.
Cool.
And at the end of Iron Man, I think at the end of Iron Man, was it Thor?
Yeah.
They like I found it and there's the hammer.
Right.
And then because it all linked them together, they were like, DC should have done that.
Yep.
But what I think they tried doing was they basically tried getting their Infinity War off before Marvel could.
Yeah.
Because they thought that would be better, I guess. Because like Justice League was the mother boxes. And I'm like, right, you should have done what Marvel did.
Yep. Introduce all the characters.
And
give
then when
them
they
a movie.
and when they introduced Cyborg, they could introduce one of the mother boxes, and then not have this. But then not only that, when they did Justice League, it was almost like they were trying to do their Avengers Infinity War, but instead of giving us Darkseid, they gave us Steppenwolf. It's like this guy's irrelevant. What do you?
Yeah.
You know what?
Is it Darkseid? I thought it was Darkseid.
I think it's Darkseid. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
But it's just I don't know what they were doing. And then the Birds of Prey, man.
Oh man.
It's like getting punched in the gut over and over again because I like DC so much more. I really do. I really like Justice League.
Yeah.
I like Marvel, but I feel like Marvel is too weird.
I liked
like-
Suicide Squad.
It was okay, but it wasn't Suicide Squad. It's
Yeah, I don't really know anything much about Suicide Squad. So.
it's supposed to be that the government wants black ops.
Right.
By using villains, they can disavow any association with whatever it is they get caught doing.
It's pretty cool.
And that's not what it was. Suicide Squad, they just made a superhero movie.
Yeah, basically.
And not only
yeah.
that, it was like a weird, like, our fault. Like, what's her face? I'm forgetting the lady's name. I can't, tip of my tongue.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The woman who runs the Cadmus. I can't think of her name. People are going to mention it in the comments now because.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But she brings on the I'm totally forgetting the movie. The Delavine woman is possessed by the
like the mummy,
the
or
demon
whatever.
lady,
The
and
mummy
then she
woman.
goes rogue, and then the Suicide Squad stops her. But that's not what Suicide Squad was. It should have been it could have been very simple, like infiltrating a foreign adversary's research facility.
Yeah.
Because it could have been something like this government is developing a bioweapon, go in and destroy it.
That would have been cool.
And then it could have been like in the end, one of them gets caught, and then you see like breaking news, and it was like Harley Quinn was captured trying to steal a bioweapon.
Right.
But what people don't realize
Harley
is actually,
Quinn's plot or plan foiled by our government. Like we
Exactly.
saved the day.
and then she actually ends
like-
up destroying whatever they were doing or something.
Which would have
Something
been
like
a
that.
great segue into an actual Harley Quinn solo movie. But
You know what they tried doing with Harley Quinn? I think they tried making Lady Deadpool.
Everyone's saying Amanda Waller. Is that-
Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Thanks,
I was
chat.
like, they're all gonna jump in. And,
Chat's
yeah.
the best.
But dude, I just the Justice League cartoons are awesome. I like Green Lantern, Batman, Martian
I
Manhunter. all this
really
stuff.
liked Green Lantern a lot. Green Lantern is cool.
And the what was I watching? I was watching one of the movies where I can't remember which movie it was. I just watched it recently. One of the animated Warner Brothers ones. Why is it that the animated Warner Brothers DC movies are great? Can't you
That's
just
what I
make
hear.
that live? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
that's what I hear, that they're really good. The
So
DC.
some villains from the future view the Green Lantern as fascists.
Okay.
They're like militaristic,
Okay.
interspatial,
They basically are like a police force.
a military,
for
Marines.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of really cool things they explore. But anyway, long story short, you get these Warner Brother animated films on Amazon, and they're awesome. They're great.
I don't think I've seen any of them.
Why do we end up with this weird stuff this weird, you know, I don't know, man.
It's the social justice people that are infiltrating everywhere.
Well, that's Birds
and
of Prey.
influencing. I think it has something to do. It's becoming more prevalent. You're right. Birds of Prey is a prime example of that. Yes.
Justice League wasn't social justice-y.
Okay.
It was just bad.
But you know what? It's also the people that don't know the actual comics. They're not Justice League fans, Suicide Squad fans. They're not like, oh man, I grew up watching Suicide Squad. Now I'm a part of this movie. Let's really pay homage to what it was. Let's do that. That's not what's happening. They're like, oh, we got these big actors, Will Smith and all these other people. Like, let's make a big epic movie. Yeah, but what about Suicide Squad?
I feel like what they're doing is they're like, what IP do we have? And they're like, we could do Suicide Squad. Awesome. Now, how do we make it the Avengers?
Right.
It's like, no. People really like Suicide Squad.
They want some of that.
How did they
that Avengers money, man?
How did they
made $1 billion, didn't it? Something like that. Insane.
Yeah, but Justice.
But as you said, they built it up over it.
Right.
If they just put Avengers out there, Endgame, with nothing else, it wouldn't have been the same.
It would have been really awful, actually. Infinity War is amazing. Endgame I liked, but it really does feel like Endgame was just a an anthology.
we have to put this out now.
No, it's an anthology episode. Like, you know, you watch a show,
Yeah.
and they just do flashbacks the whole episode.
Oh yeah.
That's what it was. And so it was okay, but like, what I don't like about Endgame is that the villain is of their own creation.
Yeah.
They go back in time, they trigger some Thanos, he comes to the future and then fights him, and I'm like, but Thanos is already dead. That's kind of dumb, you know?
Yeah.
Infinity War was amazing.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It feels like DC is just like, it's so mishmashed. They're like, okay, we have Batman, we have Superman, we'll do Batman versus Superman. Can we make it like Marvel? Yes, but darker.
Ooh.
Yes.
Martha.
Oh
my God.
I don't understand. Like, the explanation I gave you of how they could have resolved that. That's the way it was supposed to be. He has the spear up to Superman's neck, then he throws it aside and says, you know, never forget, I defeated you. And that would have been the end of it. And then Superman would have came to, realizing he was defeated. So here's the thing. In that movie, when Superman approaches Batman asking for help about his mom, he comes as an arrogant dick.
Yeah.
And he walks up and he's like, if I wanted to kill you, I would. And so Batman goes at him hardcore. That was fine. And then Batman should have won. And then Superman should have come to, realized that he was defeated, but Batman didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And then he would have been like, well, you know, and then then it could have gone to regular dialogue where he was like, you've acted with impunity for too long. You are not a god on this planet. And then Superman could have been like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I need your help.
Yeah.
And then it could have been normal. Instead, it was like, Martha.
So
you know, my
silly.
favorite meme about it is that, like, I don't know if it was a cartoon or something, but the joke was they're fighting. And then all of a sudden, like, it's at the point where Batman's going to beat him. And then he's like, no, don't kill me because my mom Martha is in trouble. And then Batman goes, your mom's name is Martha too? My mom's name is Martha. Dude, your mom's name is Martha? That's so cool. Do you want to be friends?
We just become best friends.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it was.
Terrible.
Yeah, man. So, I don't know. The Snyder Cut, they're saying, might be a 4-part miniseries.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because there's like 4 hours of content.
Long movie.
And they're talking about having it. A lot of the footage that never got used has to be like touched up, and they got to do the CGI and all.
Oh,
that
makes sense. Yeah, right. Because they never actually used it.
Maybe it will be good. One thing I don't really like about it is Wonder Woman seems underpowered, and Superman is just OP.
I don't really remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Like, Wonder Woman's really strong, but it seems like the gap in power between her and Superman is too great in the movies.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, in her movies, like, she's a boss. Like,
No, her power level's the same between her movies and Justice League.
Oh, okay.
I just feel like she should be substantially stronger.
Okay.
I guess, you know, maybe it's early on or whatever. But then when you have Superman coming in to save the day, he's just too powerful.
It's Superman.
I know.
Superman.
That is
Super
an issue.
Florbo.
Indeed.
But they could still write something into that where, you know, when Steppenwolf comes and he's like a Kryptonian or whatever, and he knows Superman's there could have been reconnaissance. He could have said something as simple as, like, they could have showed a scene where he's talking to Darkseid and he's like, Earth has since gotten a Kryptonian, and, you know, it's a yellow sun. You know what this means. And then he could have gone, we're going to need reinforcements or something, or we'll need kryptonite.
The
or
chat
something
has
like that.
informed me it's Darkseid.
It is Darkseid.
That's
okay.
that's what people were adding me.
Oh, well, there you go.
Thanks again, chat.
I don't know. I'm just saying words. Anyway, if what is it? If you weren't Martha, you weren't hip. I'm hoping that they can salvage this series, but I have no faith. I remember, I can't remember what movie I was leaving, and I walked out, we were talking about it, and there was some like, fat neckbeard kind of guy.
Okay.
And they were talking about it too, and then I mentioned I like DC more, and then he stopped, he was like, no. Wrong.
Oh,
okay.
How does it feel?
Thank you for informing me my
How does it
opinion.
feel when someone else does it to you?
What?
Oh,
No.
Your opinion is wrong.
When
Your-
someone
your
tells me
opinion's
that
wrong.
my like
How does
of,
it feel?
my like of
Yeah.
Batman versus Cyclops is incorrect.
Yeah.
No, that's totally different. That's like they're both
Oh, I'm still having fun here.
in terms of literature. Batman and any other Marvel hero are of equal merit. It's
Okay.
just it's depending on what you see in these heroes that you think you like more than something else.
Right.
So I think Batman's awesome. I do, and I like how a lot of the movies have handled Batman. I actually think Ben Affleck did a great job. I think he did.
Yeah, actually, he did an all right job as Batman. I have to agree.
Henry Cavill was great as Superman too.
Yeah,
That's why
I'm actually bummed he stopped because
know.
he made me like Superman in those films better because he did a good job of it. It's a shame he left because DC was crumbling.
You know that Superman used to have the ability to fire miniature Supermans from his hand?
Miniature Supermans.
Yeah, little versions of himself.
That's cute.
Because I guess apparently, like early on, Superman didn't have any like defined powers.
Okay.
So I was reading something that said he was actually a lot weaker.
Mini Superman.
He couldn't fly, and then they introduced a bunch of weird random powers, and it wasn't later on until they did like ultimately said like here are his powers. But I was also there was a viral post on Reddit recently that said Kryptonite was introduced because the voice actor for Superman in the early cartoon wanted to go on vacation. So they were like, okay, Superman's sick. It's a Kryptonite. Ooh. And so that way they could have the voice actor
Take a day off.
or for like a week on vacation or something.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny how a lot of these things work with like the business side of things has to make a change, so it has to incorporate some kind of story arc change to accommodate a reduction in staff, publishing time, voice actors. Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how it plays out. But let's hop back over to the super chats.
Yeah.
And see, that was a good instance where someone super chatted us and then we ranted on it for a little while.
Love
so
it.
We got
love
a
your super chats.
whole new
Yeah,
segment.
man. Mm-hmm.
Vcidius says, I was looking up the Joe Scarborough story from earlier and saw the coroner was Dr. Birkeland. Google Dr. Birkeland at Daily Mail. My jaw hit the floor. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Don't know who that is, but I'll look it up.
I will Google it.
Jeb Breed says, July 4th, the dance party. Be there or be square. Viparis, July 4th is going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
If we're still under lockdown,
Oh,
it's
man.
Independence Day.
It's gonna hit the
Americans be waving flags, man. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Viperus.
Man, it's coming soon. Something.
Viperis says, not surprised that Brzezinski can't tell that The Daily Show is fake news satire, considering that the journalists at MSNBC, WAPO, CNN do nothing but make stuff up and push it as real news. Oh, you know what I love? Brian Stelter uncritically just pushing right-wing watch. Like he's tweeting it out. I'm like, I thought you were a journalist. You go on and talk about how you're doing all this real news. Right Wing Watch is a project of something called People for the American Way, which is a Democratic Party advocacy organization.
Okay.
They have a media arm that just smears conservatives and targets them specifically to push, the narrative, like the fundraising for this progressive. And why is CNN posting this stuff? Yeah, you know what?
CNN's a joke.
Mark Robert Shaw says, my uncle was born missing a heart valve because of that anti-morning sick medicine, and he drowned as an adult because his heart was too weak. Oh, is that the middle line, huh?
Sorry to hear.
Sorry.
Yeah, that sucks.
Livid Larry says, did you guys hear that Governor Polis suspended the Castle Rock restaurant owner's license, and from what I read, indefinitely? I didn't hear that. I heard it now from you, but I also heard that, look, didn't that barber in Michigan get their permit pulled too?
Yeah, he
Governor
did.
Whitmer bullying a 70-year-old man for cutting hair.
Yep.
Love it.
Crazy.
Joseph says, been doing a replay of all the Assassin's Creed games currently on Brotherhood while listening to you guys. If you haven't played them, you probably enjoy them. Has some nice underlying philosophy. I do, but it became too repetitive.
I 100% agree. The fighting is boring to me.
Yep. It's like the same thing.
Dodge, fight, dodge, attack, dodge, attack. It's like, I like exploring, but it just gets boring.
Yeah. Brian says Bill Gates has a small willy. Also, he wants to vaccine all of us globally so we can get sterilized. That is just a super
I
chat
said it as a
comment.
joke.
Just
Yeah,
a
it was a
super
joke.
chat. Yeah.
I meant that's all it was, a super chat comment.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said nothing.
Right.
Rick says, hey, Beanie Man, more Lydia, less soy Jesus.
What?
Ooh,
No.
the
Soy
fight
Jesus.
is on.
You cannot
Okay.
spurn soy,
Soy
Jesus.
Jesus.
Knock it off.
Thank you, lady.
Caboose says forced vaccination will start the boogaloo for me. For a lot of
yeah.
people.
Seriously.
Agreed.
Jeb Breed says not a quarantine, it's house arrest. The Brat says, hey, Tim, baby Jesus, beautiful Lydia. I'm an Army veteran from New Jersey, and after Murphy tweet on lockdown and Jim, I'm moving to West Virginia. If Murphy escalates, I will return to uphold my oath to the people. Woo, spicy.
I like this
Come
person.
along with you.
We're going to get in trouble. Like, look, man.
It's only a matter of time now.
Yep. The people are speaking up. They're going to the beaches. They're ignoring these orders. And if YouTube thinks they're going to suspend and shut down channels when people are doing this, what do you want me to do? While thousands and thousands of people in New York are partying in the streets, while thousands of people are going to the beaches, I have to pretend to be like, oh, these people are wrong because YouTube's going to ban me. It's not going to happen. YouTube's going to have to ban me.
Don't ban us.
Let's see. Michael says thymidolide was in the 50s, not the 80s. Okay, there you go. I wasn't alive, so I don't know about it. Graf von Tierl says Susan Wojcicki, is that how you pronounce it? Wojcicki? Wojcicki is still proving to be such a terrible CEO. And the only reason that she isn't failing is that nothing else has the infrastructure to compete yet, because YouTube is subsidized by the other Google industries. Second Fleet Actual says every person supporting the lockdown is supporting treason. In a colloquial sense, in a legal sense, treason is providing aid to an adversary of the country.
Yes.
Sparky says, thalidomide was the birth defect drug in the 1950s. There you go. Some call me Casey. Adam, are you saying Bill Gates is our version of Morden Solis? As long as he signs his own version of Scientist Solarian, I might be okay with it.
What is that?
I do not
Solis?
know what
I have
that
no idea.
Yeah.
I thought you knew because it was like from one of your books or something.
No, I don't know.
The Brat says, silence. It's the oath of tyrants and the creed of slaves. I won't be silent. Graboid Biden says, you may want to consider Chattanooga when you move. We have great internet and the city is growing at a crazy rate. We also have a small skate park that could use someone with a big name. It's got to be East Coast time. So I don't know. Where's
Chattanooga, Tennessee?
Is Chattanooga in Tennessee?
Yeah, that's East Coast time.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
We'll take a look.
Yeah.
But I am thinking still like relatively close to where I'm at now. It's just an issue of where I live. There's Delaware, Pennsylvania, Jersey, New York. There's all these options. And so I could easily, like Delaware is, I think, a half an hour from me. Pennsylvania is 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Humidity
it's close.
right now is 97% in Chattanooga.
No.
Yeah.
You're out.
That's so high. Oh my gosh.
So it's like if I have the opportunity to start a business or move my business to Delaware, why wouldn't I? Wilmington sounds nice. They got a really great seafood place. Oh, you probably wouldn't like it, but I like it. Sparky says it was a cancer drug later shown to help leprosy. I don't know what that is a reference to.
Interesting.
Student of history says, why are these government officials actively attempting to cause a civil war? All boog memes aside, are they trying to cause something serious? Because this is going to caress people like sandpaper.
Indeed.
Yep. Maria says, love your stuff, Tim. Marilyn Krabs. Appreciate it. A handy redneck says, I thought Dershowitz was a good Jewish name. Never knew it to be a German. I'm not going to go that far.
Yeah, I saw somebody tweeting that. Must be the same person.
Keith Simon says, yo, issue a correction. Read 10A. It says the rights of the states and people belong to themselves, respectively. States can't touch people's rights. That includes bodily integrity. You made me pay to get this scene.
Wait. I have
you didn't have to send $20 to do it.
Thank you, though. I have the text. It says, these rights are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. That's all it says. It's the world's shortest amendment.
Okay. The world's shortest?
Yeah, it's very short. It's like one sentence.
Sparky says, boomers feel their mortality, so they're selfish. Jeb Reed says, everyone here will need to pick up the sword to save your own life. Sean says, what about my body, my choice? That's the funny thing. To make fun of the leftists, conservative protesters are saying my body, my choice. And then the left aren't smart enough to understand they're being made fun of. And they're like, duh, these people don't understand what they're saying. It's like, they do. They're making fun of you.
Oh my gosh. This is like the truth of her facts.
Sparky says, average age of CV-19 death is older than average. Yeah, it's really old.
Yeah.
James says, force a vaccine on me and I will.
It won't end
We're gonna be careful on these super chats from now on. K98 says, Florida Statute 876, Section 5 through 10, say that officers who break their oath to support the U.S. Constitution are guilty of perjury and ineligible for employment by the state. Find your state's law on oaths. Wow, that's interesting. Samuel Williams, the founding father, says Trump should tweet my body, my choice about hydromed. See them try to argue against that point. Yeah. They're making fun of him for taking hydroxychloroquine because his doctor said he could do it if he wanted to.
It's his body.
Kyle says, Jacobson v. Massachusetts set the precedent for forced vaccinations. It's not in the Constitution. It's established precedent. Well, then, I won't live in Massachusetts. Hadrian's Wall says, Dershowitz is the dirtiest of the dirty. Pathological liar and pure evil. See Chomsky versus Dershowitz debate and some of Chomsky's comments on him. I'll check it out. Dark Renji says, move to Georgia, Tim. We're open, but humid. The Gray Gamer says, come to Kansas. There is a lot of small towns that could use your help. That's one thing I was really excited for. I was looking at a lot of really small towns that industry was dying out because you could, I don't want to act like I could do it on my own, but coming back and trying to revitalize it by bringing jobs could be a great thing. Spartan says, watch Demolition Man if you haven't already. LOL.
Great movie.
You good? Yeah, absolutely.
Classic.
The Dashing Road says, oh, brave new world that has such people in it. Benjamin Stevens, Tim and crew, love you all. One question, if you have the time. My second tour in Afghanistan, I asked an Afghan army soldier, what happens when the USA leaves? He replied with, Taliban come down, kill everyone. I think he's right. What's your opinion?
He's probably right.
I don't know. I can't say. I don't know anything about it.
I don't entirely think so, but maybe. I think, Trump has been trying to work on some kind of negotiation. I think that all fell apart. That was briefly historical. But maybe, yeah. I mean, the people who live there know better than I do. Look, I live in the United States, so I can't really comment beyond that. JT says, hey, Beanie Crew. Doing great work as always. Any of you watch Tony Hawk on Rogan today? What are your thoughts on skating as an Olympic sport? I am milquetoast fence sitting on it. I'm actually for it. I'm totally for it.
I think it's cool.
When I was younger, I was totally opposed to it because skateboarding culture was very much about independence, freedom, street, doing your own thing. But then
it still has that.
Yes, but I've come to see what this has evolved into. And now I get really, really pissed off on Instagram when you see kids making video where they attack security guards.
Yeah, I hate that.
And there are big companies that promote these videos. And it's disgusting. Because there was a dude
that's not a good thing.
Who got put in he got brain damage and put in a coma. They removed part of his brain because these dudes were trying to skate this famous spot.
Yeah.
Security guard came out. The security guard, I don't know if he started it or not, but he started picking a fight. Like a fight broke out. He went to attack one skater.
Okay.
He fell down, hit his head, and that was it. Brain damage. And these guys, this guy went to prison or something.
The skater did.
Yeah, and I think the skater was defending himself, but he was breaking the law by trespassing. And so
he was in the wrong no matter what.
Yep. Something like that happened.
Yeah.
And so when I see these videos where kids are skating and the security guard comes up and tells them to leave and they shove him out of the way or they fight with him or they do the trick over him or something.
Yeah, it's like you just leave and come back in like an hour.
Yeah.
Go skate a different spot.
That's
how you do it.
Not only that, but you need to realize I'm all for street skating.
Yeah.
But skateboarding became too big and it started to become something untenable. I don't know what the answer is.
Okay.
Well, look, when you have a massive multi-billion-dollar industry, and you're encouraging kids to go out, and then they're basically romping around people's property and stuff, it's going to become a problem at some point.
Well, the answer is more skate parks.
And that's what they started doing.
Yeah.
But so here's what happened. Initially, people rejected the Olympic stuff because they were like, it's about street and being raw and all that stuff. And that's when my opinion started changing. And I'm like, nah, you still have the independence, you still have the structure, you still have the life experience, the things you learn from skateboarding.
Yeah.
But now you don't got to worry about getting arrested. You don't got to worry about hurting people. No more fights, less confrontational.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, I kind of like the idea of it being in the Olympics now.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
It's going to be good for the industry. It's going to make more pros.
Yep.
I think there's a risk in that you're going to create a class of elitist skateboarders.
Okay.
So skateboarding used to be it was fiercely independent, fiercely libertarian. But now you're going to end up with people who their parents train them to be Olympic skateboarders.
Yeah.
And it turns the sport into plastic.
Like that 11-year-old been skating since he was a child, probably.
That's different, though. That's okay.
Well, I mean, that's what's going to happen,
cool.
though. It's going to be these people that are just like skating their entire life, and just no one else can be on that level unless you also.
Same with any sport.
Yeah, that's true.
I disagree, though.
With what?
That skateboarding is interestingly unique in that there's definitely going to be a big advantage for people who've been skating since they were babies. Mm-hmm. But you can risk everything by choice and be one of the best skaters in the world.
Okay.
I can't remember the dude's name, but there was a pro skateboarder who was I would argue didn't seem to be that good, but didn't mind breaking bones to make sure that they were good enough. Okay. And so they would do ridiculous handrails, slam really hard and sprains, don't care. Because they had the guts to try to do a trick that was moderately hard, but on some massive obstacle.
It's not me you're talking about, are you?
No, but that does describe you to varying degrees.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Adam's just falling nonstop because he refuses to give up tricks.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying really difficult things, but then I land them and it's all worth it.
The way I skate is I'll size it up. I'll lock into the trick and then I'll jump off and be like, okay, now I can feel it.
Yeah.
Adam doesn't do that. He's
No.
just like, nah, I'm just gonna go for it, and then like, boom, I'll get back up and do it again. I'm chill. I don't want to break my legs. But hey, we'll see how things play with the Olympics. I think in the end, man, if you want to skate, you skate. It's you do your thing.
Yeah.
I don't need to rely on
The
anybody
Olympic
else.
skateboarding in the Olympics is not going to change skate culture. That's
It is.
really no, it's not.
I think it is.
It'll create a pocket of skate culture, but as a whole, it's not going to change
I disagree.
because not everyone wants to get hurt. Like most sports, you can play. I mean, sure, everyone gets hurt in sports, but when you skateboard, the chances of you getting hurt is significant. Like you're gonna fall, you're gonna hurt.
It's actually
my
less.
shins look like battlefields. Most skaters get shinners, fall over, break their wrists eventually.
Skateboarding has a lower incidence of injury compared to almost every other sport.
Yeah, maybe significant injuries, but I'm not talking about that. I'm
No,
talking about
everything. But it's because skateboarders incorporate like dodge training and agility into. So it's like to be a good skateboarder, you learn how to escape.
Sure.
Whereas with contact sports, you get tackled.
Okay.
And so you're guaranteed to get a bruise. You're guaranteed to get a shinner. Skateboarding, it's like I can lock into a blunt and then just walk off my board and be like, I'll get it when I feel more confident.
Sure.
Then if you fall, you judo roll out of it. So statistically,
I disagree.
but this is statistically true.
I don't care about your statistics.
So
I still disagree.
when I was younger, there was a big thing about skate parks mandating helmets.
Okay.
And one of the big pushes against it, which I was absolutely for getting rid of helmet rules, was that it was actually much more of a detriment considering the statistics on sports injuries.
Okay.
So, of course, when they play football, everyone's wearing crazy armor and stuff.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of sports where people weren't wearing full gear. And the stats were like, it was significant. It was like an order of magnitude. Skateboarders get hurt less.
Okay.
Like it was less than 1% compared to like 2 or 3 or 4% for other sports. And so we had been advocating like for shops, or not shops, for like indoor parks to not have to mandate helmets by the insurance companies.
Okay.
That was our argument. And for like local parks too. And my argument was this, it's like if I spend all day practicing and training for rolling, bailing, and not using a helmet, and I'm not skating a vert ramp or anything like that, if you're skating vert, wear a helmet, wear full pads, then I think it is actually bad to change someone's comfortability and by making them wear a helmet. If they don't want to and they don't feel comfortable and confident doing it, don't make them do it.
I mean, I've seen probably the best skater at Chelsea Piers, not skating the deep bowl, just like skating around the park, crack his head open.
Yep.
And because it happens.
Right, it does, for sure.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so that's why I'm saying, like, if you wear a helmet and you're comfortable wearing a helmet, do what makes you feel comfortable and confident.
Okay.
But, when looking at the numbers, if someone spends their whole life skating a specific way and then you make them change what they do and they're not comfortable doing it, it's like, it makes no sense. I think it's up to the individual to choose what they think is appropriate for them.
Yeah.
And we use stats to back that up. Let's read more super chats.
Yeah, it's 10. Let's keep it going.
JT says, I read that one. Luke Cassidy, thanks for the super chat. The Unrepresented said, vaccines and video games are the stuff you need to wait for patching. Absolutely.
True.
Vasht says, this is why the founders feared direct democracy and created the Constitution. Dashi says, it isn't anti-vax to be against government-forced medication. Agreed. Wing Lung says, the vaccine should be in the form of a red pill instead of a shot. Yikes. Let's see. Higa Herger.
I was thinking
V for
this.
Vendetta, anyone?
Yeah, I was thinking it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Invest in the pharmaceutical company, brother. Because if they're going to mandate it, you're going to get rich.
Exactly.
But you don't know who's going to get the contract.
I know.
So just invest in all of them.
I'll just go with whoever Fauci's company is.
Yeah, right. AF King says, if that's the case, then can we put governors who do what Cuomo did under citizen's arrest if we catch them out and about? Yeah, it's too bad that's not how power works, fortunately.
Yeah, it's
They break the law and they get away with it.
crazy how much that's happening too.
Rob Fleckenstein says, of course they can force a needle in you, just the way they forced everyone to stay home and go broke or put fluoride in your water.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Prometheus, I know immediately all the journalists are going to be like, Tim's anti-fluoride. No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
That's what they did.
They put
It
fluoride in the
happened.
water. They just did it.
That's the thing.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, people voted for it, I guess. Prometheus Education Inc. says, believe all Bidens. Well, he's a Democrat. Some call me Casey. Honestly, this sounds more like the prelude to Wall-E than anything else.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Creepiest
Chris
thing
White
ever.
says, so then this governor says you can't spread diseases and you can't spread them. He must then advocate for locking up anyone with HIV, right? I guess the issue is
Maybe.
this is a novel virus that could be spread very, very easily.
It's
Yep.
airborne.
But I still think it's them overreacting. Nut Heisenberg says, Antifa is confused. Everyone has masks. They don't know who's who. Kyle Buchanan says, with license, bear, monkey, lion, tiger, alligator, leopard, cheetah, etc. can be owned for $50 a year. In Oklahoma, we have anti-red flag laws and constitutional carry. What can you not like? I can have my own bear and monkey.
Sweet.
Oh my.
Let's go.
Nathan Bevel says, welcome to Costco. I love you. Solitary Gamer says, oddly enough, I don't think Trump is tyrannically enough to force vaccinations. I agree. But we'll see what everyone else does.
Yeah, it's the blue states.
Yep. Crank Sinatra says, Tim, did you ever get in contact with Brett Weinstein and Heather about a tweet of theirs you referenced? They were concerned you took it too far. I didn't. I don't know. They never sent me any messages about anything. So I don't know if I guess they tweeted at me, but I get way too many mentions. I don't understand why he wouldn't just DM me if that was the case, though. So
Yeah, don't you know him personally? Why wouldn't he just hit you up
yeah,
personally?
I've DM'd him, on Twitter like all the time. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like,
Honestly, I kind of dug into this a little bit, and because he knows you personally and hasn't hit you up, they're just using it as more points to
I
get
don't
clicks.
know.
Also,
It gives them a chance
that's
to talk.
that's their whole argument, is that we were just doing it for clicks, but it's like we were just using his tweet as a reference to what we were talking about in that episode.
didn't we say Professor makes argument against lockdown?
Yeah,
That's literally what he did.
and he's saying that that's not what he was saying at all. That they're for the lockdown, but not the way it's locked down. And it's like, okay, now they're just arguing semantics and using it as more points to get it out there.
I honestly don't think he even cares.
I agree.
I thought it
I
was
think-
great
I think
they had
it's-
a chance to explain themselves.
Yeah,
Which is exactly what
I think
they
it's
did.
I think
It's
it's
great.
I think it's other people that are acting like it's a big deal.
Honestly, it was the other doctor was making more of a big deal about it. Like, we were using his credentials, and like, how dare we use his credentials and his name? And it's like,
Meh.
we didn't even use his name.
Who said
I mean,
that?
it was his tweet. He tweeted out there. It's
Do
public
you
knowledge
know how many
now.
people's tweets I take and quote them
Right.
Yeah,
All the
a
time.
lot, yeah.
all the time, every day,
And
500 times?
And it's true. We need to get outside because of the stuff that he put out there. I mean, it's silly. And if he really was bothered, he would have hit you up and asked you to change it or something.
well, that's why I just don't think it's a big deal. I don't think he even cares that
They
much.
even admitted in the video they didn't watch our video. They just were upset about the
Oh.
thumbnail. The title of was misleading. That's what they were upset about. And it's like, okay, well, watch it. We used his tweet, but that's it.
Yeah, I don't even think that we relied heavily on it at all.
Yeah, no, it was just part of it.
But
It's just the thumbnail, the whole, like, the thumbnail and the title of it makes it seem like
I'll
that's
have to
it.
check what it is, but I'm pretty sure it was something like Professor makes like epic argument against lockdown or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Which he did.
Exactly.
I don't know, man.
Exactly.
I look, man. I get hit up all the time by people who are like, "Did you see this person? Did you see that person?" I'm like, bro, they would have hit me up.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah, especially because they know you. It's like, come on. If you're really upset, hit him up.
Yeah. All right, I think we're gonna have to speed things up because we have way too many.
Yeah, we're already over.
Lou Castley says, please continue to question everything. Oh, I will. Buckeye Brown says, first things first, it's pronounced Buckeye. Second, is it Buck A? Is that what you're trying to say? Second, if someone tries to come to my door with a vaccine, they will receive a rude awakening. Evan Boimel. Tim, Adam, and Lydia, thank you, as always, for your honesty and outlook on the world. You are more than welcome to set up shop in Southern Ohio. We'd love to have you. Help in any way. Keep this show as long as you can. Liberty. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Geek Doll says, waiting in line at the grocery store makes me feel like I'm living through a mouse utopian experiment.
Yeah.
Call for President says, I may be the conspiracy theorist in the room, but in regards to vaccinations in the government, the only good ending is the QAnon ending. Isn't this the age of Aquarius? I don't know what that ending is.
Neither do I.
Bob, thanks for the super chat. White Raven says, maybe consider Supreme Court ruling Jacobson v. Massachusetts. Smallpox forced vax on children denied. Well, I don't know. I think we'll need more context on that.
Yeah.
A handy redneck says, show up to my house and say I have to get a vaccine. You will be injected with a couple of Killery's patent lead capsules. Yikes. Jay Many says, not trying to sound crazy, but quarantining a group of people to make them weaker, then taking them to camps to work to die kind of seems like a strategy a government has done before. Is that what they're doing? Mimi says, drive-ins are opening up. Cool. Joseph says, if masks work so well, why didn't we just give criminals the masks instead of releasing them? We know that close quarters breeds the infection, and for some reason we're telling everyone to stay in close quarters.
Yeah,
None of
it's
this makes sense.
foolproof.
Doesn't make sense.
Graf Van Tiro says, a reminder to officials in states like New Jersey, Michigan, Oregon, quote, I'm just following orders is not a valid defense anymore than it was in Nuremberg. Absolutely. Ben, thanks for coming a member.
Thank you.
Rodney, thanks for coming a member.
Nice, thank you.
Welcome.
Gender says, Satan visits death metal drummer in COVID coma. Turns out hell is not cool. Will Carroll of Death Angel Band said Satan, a woman, morphed him into a Jabba the Hutt-like monster who vomited blood. Wait, what?
Ooh, that sounds like a fever dream.
That's a lot to unpack there.
Wow.
Floorbo Adjacent says, I hope
my.
YouTube doesn't raise any issues from yesterday's stream. Good points made all around. I love your content and I hope this money can do some good. Could you please give the UFO a nice spin for me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Do it to it, brother.
It's the least
I
we
will
can
do this for you.
Banjo Boy says the House of Representatives was supposed to grow with population. It was locked at its current number about 100 years ago. Wow. There it goes. Giving it a nice spin.
That was for you.
Nicholas Kindler says, your NYT story reminded me of a Russian studies professor I had who said that wokeness was the same as Bolsheviks' political consciousness. People had to be educated on what's correct. Y'all keep up the good work. Will do. Nia Vang says, Tim, if the government is so big on vaccinations, then why would they allow so many illegal immigrants come over our borders without any way of tracking them? It's a good question, but Trump shut the borders down. So, I don't know. Bobby G says, I've been saying this for years. Silicon Valley sold us the devices that would control us all. Cameras and microphones in every home. Yep.
In every hand.
Jay Many says, George Orwell, I think I know how out of control governments can get. 2020 politicians, hold my beer. Oh, yeah. Michael Goddard says, is there a list of YouTube's banned words? I found a new word topic that's automatically deleted from chat. Can't tell you. It keeps getting deleted. It's the nickname for comments paid for by CCP. Wow, interesting. Hey Momo says, whenever Biden is mentioned, I think the stories with a drooling simpleton king. It's always a figurehead setup, someone else pulling the strings. How interesting he is the candidate from people who want to muzzle and leash the standing president.
Yep.
End Time Guitarist says, peeps do not realize is a civil war is literally impossible at this point. The AI systems and technology used to predict the future surveillance will know this is forming before it ever happens. Unless it's a flashpoint. Unless it's like in V for Vendetta, that little girl skipping, minding her own business, and then the cop shoots her, and then people just snap.
Yep.
I mean, sure, the AI can predict a lot of things. It can predict if you are planning something, but it can't predict random occurrences. There's a 20% chance something happens randomly, and we don't know where and when.
The beauty of being human.
Oh, yeah. We got way too many super chats. We are being...
man.
Oh, wow. Just jumped like crazy.
Yeah, look how big this is.
Oh.
Awesome.
Oof, looks like we're going to be going over for a little while.
That's all right. We don't mind.
Jody,
Me
thanks
too.
for the super chat. And look, I got to be honest, so we normally try to go till 10. We're getting so many super chats. We're already 12 minutes over. But we love you guys, so we're going to read them. But I can't read all of them. That's the point I'm trying to make.
We'll see how far we can get.
Jean McLeod says, I live in St. George, Utah. Except going to the stores, the city is running like there is not a pandemic. I love it here. You may like you too, Beanie Brigade. Cool. Papa Bear says, come to West Virginia, Tim. I'll take you hunting and fishing. I mean, West Virginia sounds awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Tracy Nolan says, check out Breitbart's video on Operation Harcut at the Michigan Capitol. 1K ticket stemming from disorderly conduct to defying a social distancing order, then threatening them with jail. Yikes. Tracy Nolan then says part 2, if they couldn't produce their license, you can cut all the hair you want for free and not have to have a license. These stylists were giving haircuts for free. Wow. Dark Phantos says, hope people learn from all of this madness. Love you all. Appreciate it.
Me too.
George at Jeff at Large. When I want honest political commentary and news, I go to Timcast. When I want honest research and news on UFOs and national security state, I go to Richard Dolan's YouTube channel. Love you guys. Appreciate it.
Richard Dolan.
Thank you.
Evan Jones says, hey, Lydia, I think I heard you're from Boston. I live in Lowell. Have you lost any friends from being on this show and sharing your political views? Keep up the good work, guys, and stay safe.
I am not from Boston. I'm actually from Colorado, which is nothing like Boston, I don't think. I really haven't lost any friends from being on the show, though, so I'm happy about that. Thanks for thinking of me, though.
Andy Zimmerman, thanks for the super chat.
I see someone just asked me what my social media handle is.
Oh, yeah.
It's right there.
Where could it be?
That's me.
Found it.
Follow at Adam Krigler.
That's me right there.
Send him stories.
Easy to find me.
Send him your manifestos. All of them.
Pester him.
I might
500
not read an entire manifesto, but if it catches me, sure.
Yeah, you might.
I like sci-fi.
Andy Zimmerman says, will YouTube have a true competitor that focuses on being not partisan? If so, why hasn't the free market filled this issue yet? YouTube is subsidized. The partner program dominates because people who create are like, I can make a living here. And then because they can't get the advertisers and the views on other platforms, there can be no competition. So as long as Google search subsidizes YouTube, which it does, nothing can exist. Yep. Well, the antitrust probe is coming. We'll see what happens. Jonathan Goddard says, Texas barbecue is the best barbecue. I'm inclined to agree. Ace Wing says, hey, guys and gal, what's your take on Apple with their refusal to help DOJ with their court orders with Pensacola shooter iPhone, but they're okay with helping China? Don't know enough about it,
Same.
but their concerns about giving the FBI the ability to open phones because then they might violate, the Fourth Amendment, which they have and will.
Yeah.
Case in point, Obamagate.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It's like you got to be careful about what power you give and why. And if they want to use something like Pensacola as justification for why they should have that power, no, they'll abuse it. Yeah. That's the challenge.
And for everyone who's telling me to spin the globe, I can't. It's actually encased in a plastic thing, so I can't actually do.
Yep.
Wind doesn't affect it. Just only light affects it.
Julia Braunbeck says, celiac here. I need the name of the gluten-free sourdough.
Oh shoot.
Do you want to go run and?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get it. I'll read
go
it
run.
Here in a minute.
Nice.
What's your name? It's some of the best stuff I've ever had.
Stay tuned, and we'll tell you soon.
We'll just keep reading. Alex Ray says, big fan and longtime listener, showing some appreciation. By the way, fun fact that comes to mind, Adam is also the name of an AI optimization algorithm. There you go.
All right.
D14 Jabs says, hey, Pim, for the memes. What's your take on Ubisoft's new change to terms of service set for August that was released this week about their ability to use or deny service for games and services under the guise of copyright material and monetizing it? I don't
know about it.
I don't know what that means.
No.
What would that result in?
No idea.
You have the bread. What is it called?
The bread.
What is it called?
So it is spelled SCHA with an umlaut R, Char, gluten-free artisan baker white bread.
Just show. Let's see it.
It's really good.
Oh, hold on one sec. I actually went and got
Gluten-free bread. Look at that. This is not a promotional spot. This is just bread I bought. Got it off Amazon.
Super awesome.
And it's actually really
delicious.
good.
Yeah, it's good
Really
taste
good.
and everything.
Impressively good.
Pretty
Yeah.
good bread.
So for all you gluten-free people and celiacs, I just got it because I thought it was healthy or whatever. We have regular bread too.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of weird food. It's
Yeah,
we have hipster food.
Kind of
We got
artisan.
gluten-free food. We got dairy-free. We got vegan. It's like we just have hipster food.
Yeah, maybe.
We have
It's
chicken
true,
too.
we
We have
do.
everything.
I can't deny
Millennial
it.
food.
Jonathan Brown says, if you ever need a recommended state still in New England, you should move up here to New Hampshire. Great scenery, only red state up here, and everyone is pretty friendly. Only downside is the winter here is colder than heck. Don't you guys have black flies,
Is
though?
it worse than Chicago, though?
flies.
Chicago winter's brutal, man.
Chicago's awesome. -27 wind chill in the winter.
Oh.
It's worse.
90 degree.
-35.
Yeah.
It can get crazy.
95 with max humidity in the summer.
I think you
Gotta love
mispronounced
it.
awful.
I don't miss
Awful.
that.
Barkavi says, ever thought of moving to North Carolina? The weather may not be consistent, but the opportunities here is growing exponentially. I mean, I'll tell you what, if I can get a warehouse, it's air conditioned. I don't care where I'm at.
I gotta say, I
Even
like
air
North
conditioning.
Carolina.
You do?
I've been there. It's nice. They
Oh,
have really
it's not too bad.
the beaches are really nice. It's a pretty
Probably cheap.
it's a pretty place.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Sudi Thunder says, fun fact, throughout the comics, whenever Batman has a one-on-one fight with Deathstroke, he almost always loses. Deathstroke is a moral Captain America with the tactical mind of Batman in mercenary form. Really, he always loses.
Cool.
Deathstroke's cool. J-Max says, Captain Marvel parody was more woke than Disney's. They had the balls to star a trans actress. Disney's still scared of China. Interesting. Raj M says, just bought the Tim Pool Harumph I Say shirt. Be sure to link it. Y'all mentioned it on the podcast right after the Deer Twitch story. Keep it the amazing work. And then hashtag QAnon.
It is linked.
Yep, it's in our merch.
There is
the
a new
merch-
shirt of me with a tuxedo and a pipe, and it says Harumph I Say.
It's great.
In the link in the description below, click it. You will see the shirt. We
Teespring
sold
link.
like 200 of them.
Oh my god.
That's
Nice.
crazy.
That's
I want
awesome.
Pictures of everyone in their shirts.
Yep.
Thank you for those who have gotten them. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Thank
Appreciate
you for
that.
joining us.
Let's see. Psychia Dargan says Alita Battle Angel. I wasn't a big fan. I mean, it was really well made. It was fun, but I didn't like the ending. I thought it was.
I was just thinking that. I was like, man, it was really good until the end, and I was like, what?
And I just like because there was like a sequel coming.
Are
or
they
something.
gonna put another one? They better, because it doesn't make any sense.
Ginger, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Bo Rai Cho says, so do the three of you live at the same place, or do Lydia and Adam break lockdown to do the show? We have one very, very large house.
Yep.
It's a commune. We
It is
have fun.
we are hippies in a commune.
Yep.
It's actually big. I
Basically.
think it's 3,600 square feet.
Yeah, it's a
And,
big place. It's a
yep.
big house.
Yeah, we got A lot of space. The backyard's a skate park.
Oh,
This is
man.
a big. This is a big
It's
place.
so fun.
But admittedly, as I've stated before, the goal is to find a much bigger space and then become like a real company.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be temporary, and then the lockdown happened. Like when Adam, so I was actually looking to buy a building in September of last year. Found it, sale fell through. You came in January. Lydia came, I think, a couple weeks after that. And it was like the whole time I was like, I'm going to find a building, and we're actually going to, branch out. And then we got locked down.
Yeah.
So now it's like I've reached out to some buildings, and they're like, we can't actually show you any properties. So I'm like, I guess we're just in the house. One of the reasons we moved.
We're in limbo.
Get more space.
Yeah.
It's a big house. It's nice. Raj says, sail the high seas and review the uncensored version anime of the decade. Ishu Zoku reviewers are censorship SJW controversy anime YouTubers. The Hero High, I don't know what this is, and others have covered. Gabriel says, no eviction, no evictions is not the same as telling people not to pay rent. People still have a moral obligation to do the right thing. Those taking advantage of this are just proving they are terrible people.
Yeah.
I agree.
Agreed.
Walter Williams says, I love your channel. Soages and Lydia are both great too. I'll never let them vaccinate me. I'll get locked up over it, especially after what happened to Americans in the 50s. I just think I'm not going to be the first person. I have no problem with vaccines. I got a bunch when I travel, but if they're rushing something out, I'll stay home for a few months until you guys, we see some side effects maybe. Mimi Panama says, thank you, Lydia, Adam, and Tim. Latina for Trump, Asheville, NC is more you. Appreciate it. Mr. Paul R says, German salute. No, no, no. Chris Babbitt says, well, Newsom is giving illegal immigrants free money. I'm a citizen and have been waiting 2 months for CA unemployment under a forced lockdown. WTF, rip me. Yeah. Evan says, update from earlier, SC, Super Chat. Southern Ohio, I meant Cincinnati. Eastern Time, airport, lots of people with experience in film and TV in the state. Great internet and nice people, lots of food, farms outside the city. I agree. I was just actually looking at Cincinnati. We'll see how things play out. Odysseus says, accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Declaration of Independence. Norman Pagan says, I'd invest in bullets. Wolfat De Leon says, attack VHCQ by media. Why does media want people afraid to go out? Why don't they want to say China equals source? Why do they want to control us, prevent thought? Is this about virus, something else? Everything at stake this election. Sabu says, check out New Hampshire, live free or die state motto. No sales tax and concealed carry with no permit needed. Close proximity to Logan Airport is a plus. SCNR looks awesome. I will look at New Hampshire. And we just jumped again. Tanner says, I am not anti-vax. Instead, I am anti-mad scientist.
That's fair.
Matt Gates from Melbourne, Australia, and our lockdown has been harsh with lots of people staying home for weeks, but appears to be working with only single digits of infections. What's your take being from USA? The states that have apparently done the best are the ones that didn't lock down.
Yep.
It's the weirdest thing.
Agreed.
No name flat earther, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Gerg C says, Wilmington, NC, look into it. I will. And Corey DeLuna, thanks for becoming members. We have gone over about 23 minutes, so we're going to get close to rounding things up. If you haven't already, smash the like button on your way out. Yes. It really, really does help. So as you're now going into the app and, come back to your computer because we're about to sign off, just click that little like button. It really does help.
Yeah.
And also don't forget to follow Adam, because Adam is where you send all of your manifestos and story ideas and 50 tweet threads about, the current state of politics in this country.
All sorts of stuff.
But you can send him story ideas.
Yep.
And then
please do.
We can then use them on the show.
Yeah, it really does help. Helps a lot.
And you can follow me just for my typical Twitter ramblings or on Instagram. We're going to be doing some skate videos soon. We're getting close. Mm-hmm. We're starting to get into the groove. I mean,
oh yeah,
Adam's basically going nuts and just like leveling up crazy tricks every day.
I'm landing stuff I never thought I would have even dreamed of even doing.
Blunt finger flip is legit. For real. Look up blunt finger. That's crazy. So
I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that. I'm sure someone's done it before.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it's a crazy trick.
It is pretty crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, so
I earned that one.
We'll have that popping up on my Instagram at some point.
My shins earned that one.
So one of the goals with the new building is to do a new channel that's kind of like a vlog channel, but more structured. So there'll be skateboarding, there'll be music, there'll be like segments. And the idea is what I want to do with the new space, the building, which I've been trying to do for almost a year now. We get the space, we have someone dedicated to producing films and stuff, and then we'll have like, skateboarding trick Tuesdays or something,
Yeah.
where it's like Tuesday's the day we go out and we talk about like this week we've tried to do this, crazy trick. Wednesdays could be about gaming or something. And basically we just have segments about the space. We'll have guests come down.
That sounds
and
good.
it'll just be fun shenanigans and
Yeah,
stuff.
I like it.
So there's one more super chat I'll get to. Dav says, Tim, thoughts on Dr. Judy Mikovits episode being deleted from Valuetainment podcast on YouTube, and do you think it's only a matter of time before Spotify signs an agreement with Valuetainment? I don't know anything about that, unfortunately, so I can't really comment.
And sorry to everyone who did super chat us that we weren't able to get to your super chat. We have many super chats, so I just want to apologize to anyone who did super chat and we didn't read your
It's
chat,
very
so.
difficult,
Yeah.
and so I apologize. We can't get to it. Mark S says, big fan of your work. Can't wait for SCNR to pick up as well. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Need to find a building. The lockdown has really jammed us up on that one, but I'll leave it there. So make sure you share, like, notification bell, all that good stuff. Smash the like button for sure.
Yep.
If you like the podcast, share it. Tell people you like it. Tell them where they can find it. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. We do the show Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. every night. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye,
Good night.
guys.